Indeed. I do have a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so excuse any coughing. Also, what is that music playing? Sounds like something from...
It's
Oh, sorry.
it's the opening from F1 2005. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here to the United States of America in the great state of Texas for the 6th round of Extreme Racing League's realistic season. I am your host for today's race, Insane Leader 13. Once again, I'm being joined by XRO Veloce. It's a foggy day out here in Texas, a little bit of a downer today. It's been a very, very difficult time for the United States over the last few hours. Last night, due to changes with global temperature, global climate change, the worst round of tornado outbreaks to have ever occurred in the country's history has torn a gash through the Midwest and eastern states of the country. And it is with heavy hearts that we take to the track today to try and alleviate some of that frustration and that pent-up anxiety from that. As we turn our focus onto the racetrack, though, I apologize for the broadcast running a little bit late, but I have been joined by XRO Veloce. Veloce, I want to say, I really do appreciate you being willing to come up and join the broadcast here tonight.
Yeah, no problem, honestly. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the experience, and I enjoy to watch the racing, so, yeah.
Alright, well, I think it goes without saying that a lot of people here, when it comes to racing, their number one focus is actually not going to be on what they're doing here today, but is on the real-life Formula One Championship battle going down to the wire tomorrow at Abu Dhabi. But honestly, this is going to be a great test for what these drivers can and can't do. They need to be able to put all the extra noise and all the extra headaches out, because Circuit of the Americas is a very, very difficult circuit to maintain car control all the way around. As I'm riding and following Elfin Starfish right now, who's on his fine lap right through here, the S's on this racetrack, it is extremely, extremely easy to lose control here, especially if you don't have a good wheel setup or very, very good high downforce tune.
Yeah, those S's are going to be deadly. We've seen many people die in the leagues prior to this one, and that's not even all of them. Of course, we've got X1 and I believe X3 tomorrow. But yeah, we could see someone die there at turn 2, maybe turn 4 and 5 as well. They're quite bad, especially for oversteer.
Alright, so 18 drivers here in today's race by the looks of it. There may be another addition later on, but no guarantee. One other thing, I'm not going to pull up the points table yet. I'll do that after qualifying is over. But the championship points battle is really starting to open up. We're seeing the Ferrari drivers starting to go ahead and take bites out of the lead that Mr. Anderson had leading the points. And then on top of that all, Anderson's not showing up to race today. So the entire championship fight's going to get upended today, without a doubt.
Yeah, being replaced by, I don't know which the full-time driver is. I think it's Pelly replacing him today. Still staying in the pits, and, won't add to the leader's points tally, but I'm sure his own will do dividends.
That also leads to the other part, the Manufacturers' Championship battle. We've seen, and for whatever reason, it's starting to happen more and more frequently across all of the XRL tiers. It's Aston Martin and Ferrari, which seem to be having the best performing drivers, not just in XRL, but across almost all of the XRL tiers. It's a very interesting scenario.
It's just a phenomenon. You got the new team of Aston Martin this year, and Ferrari, they've just been consistent throughout the years, not only in real life, obviously the exceptional last year, in real life, Ferrari were doing great. Well, they're doing great over here as well, so that's good to see.
Right. One other thing to take note of, Circuit of the Americas here, let's be honest, a very difficult circuit because you have two very long straights here. One of them, which is honestly one of, if not the longest single straightaway in the entirety of the United States that's not from Road America or Indianapolis. There's no curves, no nothing on that long-ass back straightaway, frankly. And then you have another one that's on the front stretch, the start-finish line, and that ends going uphill into a blind, very tight corner, and it narrows from being what feels like 10 cars wide to what feels like only being 2 cars wide, and track limits are extremely, extremely difficult through turn 1 as well. This is a very, very difficult circuit, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, no easy feat. You've got to get every single part of that right, and around a track like this, 5.3 kilometers long, I believe, or something like that, and, well, the lap time we're going to probably be seeing low end of 132s at the end of Q3. It's just a long track, a lot of places you can make mistakes. The start of the lap, the first hairpin, the second hairpin as well, and also in the S's. Third hairpin, you have to cut it quite a lot and you want to be the quick, but then again, you don't want to be running out too wide there. And then obviously Sector 3 is very technically challenging, but it's also very satisfying. You can get it all hooked up and right.
You're absolutely right. One other thing to take note of is going to be the always difficult turn 19. In normal American standards, most American standard when it comes to track limits is just, if it's paved, it's legal. This track was made with European mindsets in mind, so you have a lot of different mindsets and different philosophies as to how to approach the circuit. When IndyCar and Trans Am comes to this circuit, and NASCAR even comes to this circuit, they use all the runoff possible in turn 1 and turn 19, for instance. Here, we really can't afford to do that, and because of that, you come through 16, 17, 18, you're constantly on the accelerator, you're almost foot on the throttle through the floor throughout all those corners, coming with mad speed into a near 90-degree corner. Like, it's really, really difficult to get those corners right, especially in these cars that are extremely long from nose to tail.
Yeah, one interesting thing I have just spotted, Frisbee's out on the medium compounded tyre, so you obviously won't be looking to use those in Q2. Which, well, I think that a lot of drivers will, because I think the best strategy around here is probably a 2-stop, starting with mediums. But yeah, it's interesting to see him using mediums in Q1.
It's definitely going to be very, very interesting, to say the least, to see what that strategy is, because I'm under the same assumption. Mediums are something you'd want to save for the race itself. Now, a few years back, actually, I shouldn't even say a few years back, I should really just say last season, frankly, we had a slightly different rule set, and we would see times like this, drivers would sometimes come out. Now, it wouldn't apply right now because we have too many cars on track, but we see drivers come out on wet weather tires in Q1 just to throw down a banker lap and then retire right afterwards, especially if they knew they were pretty much locked in. So we can't do that anymore. Rules have changed within XRO. You're not allowed to just go ahead and toss away a lap like that anymore. But it's very interesting to see Frisbee doing that because it's almost like tossing a lap. The Haas's have not been very fast. Well, I should take it back. The Haas's have not been very stable. They are very fast, but they've not been very stable. They've had a horrible, horrible time being able to actually finish races. So seeing him out there on the mediums trying to get extra speed on that when everyone else is on softs, I really am not 100% sure what the strategy is there.
Yeah, I mean, he's starting on softs, so he's probably going to be hoping for a safety car around about lap, I'd say probably about lap 15, he's starting on softs.
Ooh, that was close. Oh, no! Oh! And it went from bad to worse. Elephant Starfish had a spin coming out of turn 19. He saved the car, got it fixed, and as he was coming in, just ahead of him, A. Waddington came into the pits, cut down right in front of Starfish. Starfish did not react in time, ended up bouncing off the Williams and then bounced off the inside wall as well. And then the car got reset to the racetrack, and he is almost out of fuel and may have a little bit of damage on that car as well, and he needs to drag that thing all the way around a nearly 6-kilometer track just to get it into the pits, and he has almost no fuel.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a very long lap then, but if you're in a Haas, it's always going to feel like a long lap, to be honest. They're not, the only thing that at least I know them for is I haven't, well, I don't normally watch these races, as well. Normally I'm busy, but yeah, normally I know them for just sitting in last, so anything other than that is just amazing, especially in these cars where they're normally about 3 to 4 seconds off the pace. If you put someone from them as well, take a Mercedes driver and put them in the Haas, they're about 3 seconds off the pace. So yeah, very interesting.
Very strange indeed. So we have 18 cars in total. The top 15 fastest will all advance to the next round of qualifying. Waddington has gone ahead and retired in pit lane. So he is confident with his time of 1:35.307, it would appear.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cutoff will be a low 35s. Might be pushing it a little bit there, but we're not going to know until the end of the session, so...
For those of you who were not with us in XRL when we came to this track last season, very chaotic event. It was raining the entire time. There were some safety cars early on, and then the field just got so excessively spread out. And the thing that really determined having a good day or not was just being able to control the car in excessively wet conditions. I think we only had, if memory serves correctly, we only had 15 drivers show up for that race, and only 8 of them finished just because it was so rainy and so slick all across the track.
Yeah, this track isn't the best one in the wet because you're already running high wings for the first and third sector primarily, and well, if you're already running high wings, you can't gain anything from adding more wing in the wet like you normally would, so just makes it even worse for the drivers.
Typically in racing, when you do have a wet track, now we're not, as far as I know, we're not looking at a wet track, but if you are going to have a wet track, typically what you like to do is you like to straighten the tires up so they're sitting more planted on the ground, add a little bit more downforce, and typically you want to start short shifting a bit more as well. Frisbee is back out on circuit, and he now has soft tire compounds equipped, so we're going to go silent for a lap and ride on board with the Haas. Never mind, he's just invalidated. So this lap, I think he invalidated at a bad point. He's not going to get... Nope, he is. All right, we're going to go silent and ride on board for a lap with El Frisbee here around Circuit of the Americas.
That's a very good lap there from Frisbee. 34-1.
He ran that thing almost empty on the fuel tanks, though, already. Basically, the moment he crossed the line, he immediately jumped right off the throttle to start saving fuel. It's a very, very long time around this entire track. So at this point, you said it earlier, 135s, low 135s seem to be the cutoff. Right now, Ocean Lion is on the outside looking in with a 35.5. Waddington is on the bubble with a 135.3. Jan Maneuver is in with a 34.998. And Maneuver is only a thousandth of a second off of Flavor right now. Oh, and Ocean Lions just retired in the pits. So, and Waddington's been squeezed out. So we now know that Waddington and Lion will not advance to Q2.
Yeah, well, if I was in Beastion's position, I would just try to put a lap in, to be honest. At this point, because if you put a lap in similar to your teammate, well, probably need to go about a tenth quicker than your teammate, and you'll be safe to go through. Although hopefully he isn't the factor that knocks Extra or Flavor out the session.
As of now, there's only about 3 minutes, if not a little bit less than that. Actually, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. If you want to get on track to set another lap, you need to get out of the pits right now. And as I'm saying that, Gabo 360720, he's just come into the pits, and XRL Flavor has come back out onto the track. I'm not seeing any movement from Young Maneuvers pit in the Aston Martin team, although his teammate Pelly is on track right now on the back straightaway.
Yeah, I think Zola is also on a lap trying to improve on his 1:34.427, which is already a very, very good time in the session, as it looks like he's going to be safe anyway. I believe he's on the same set of tyres, so yeah, 3 lap old softs. There's no need to...
It's not looking like he's going to be able to improve, though. He's down by 167 thousandths right now.
I mean, the last sector's a long sector. It's a very winding sector. Oh, yeah, no, I think he's run out of fuel now.
Ozda's had a very interesting spin on the slowest part of the circuit, and I don't know what happened in that AlphaTauri, but for some reason that car went all the way around and backed into a very, very far off wall. Not sure what's going on there with that car.
Yeah, Frisbee retiring P5 with a 34.128. I feel like he's definitely going to be safe for that, considering we already have about 6 drivers behind him that, 4 drivers behind him that retired. And,
okay, so things are getting really interesting right now. Flavor is coming out of the final corner now to start a flying lap. Young Maneuver is on track, and he is right now on the back straightaway. Can he make it to the start-finish line in time to get one more lap in?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very close, but he's probably going to do it with about 10 seconds left on the clock, which is okay. I mean, you don't have to back off straight away. So yeah, he will be able to get another lap, and it's just a case of, can he beat his time on those older tyres that he's on now?
Flavor and Beastion in the Red Bulls going against Young Maneuver in the Aston Martin. Gabo, realistically, I think he's in. Beastion, not a good time at all. 1:35.972.
Oh, Flavor's around what happened as well. But, oh, sorry, no, I had a bit of a bug there. That's my fault.
Beastion off by nearly an entire second off of his teammate's time.
Yeah, I do. I think I...
Oh, and he's invalidated in the S's. So Beastion's out. Beastion's out. And that's it. Qualifying, for all intents and purposes, is over. Although I don't know if Flavor or Young Maneuver are aware of that yet. Flavor is up by over a quarter of a second on his prior lap, and Maneuver is actually down on time.
I mean, these drivers just want to get... I think actually Flavor is on fresh softs, maybe. Young Maneuver, yeah, he's on his original set of softs. Oh, very wide there from XRL Flavor. It's not going to be an improvement, ends up.
Flavor was up a decent amount through Sector 1 and Sector 2, but he lost it all in Sector 3. It looks like he just pushed too hard, primarily in the last corner. Young Maneuver, though, he has turned it around. He's gone from being nearly a quarter second down to being almost a fifth of a second up.
Yeah, I think I saw Flavor in the last sector there. He did a lock-up going into the right-hander just at the start of the sector, and then again going into the corner just before the long right-hander at the end of the sector. So that's just unfortunate for him. But he's still into Q. Oh, very good lap from Young Maneuver as well. P11 with a 1:34.590. So yeah, the grid is looking very close. I mean, 5/10 from P4 down to 11. So yeah, very close.
And honestly, I think we can see even greater speeds from Young Maneuver in the next round of qualifying because so I may have misinterpreted something. Beastian is still on a lap. He's on a valid lap right now somehow.
Yeah,
I thought the time was up for
there.
him, but...
I know what's happened there. He must have joined the session late or something. Because when you join the session, the timer starts at 18 for you. He's invalidated now anyway. But yeah, so when you join the session late, the timer will start at 18 minutes for him. So whenever he joined the session, let's say for us it was 16 minutes, he would have an extra 2 minutes because he joined 2 minutes into the session and he starts with 18 minutes. So
okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I've noticed this glitch happen, I think it was 2 weeks ago at Suzuka, so it was definitely weird and confusing. Now that we have a little bit of understanding that it's a feature, not a bug.
Oh no, it is a bug. It's not a feature.
Oh. Oops. Alright.
No, that's all good. Yeah,
also, one other interesting thing to note about today's event, there is nobody driving in the Mercedes cars today. Every car has 2 drivers in it except for Mercedes, and there are no Mercedes running in today's race. So a very strange position to say the least.
It's very much how Red Bull hope it goes tomorrow then, isn't it?
Well, at the top of the timesheets is James John the Ferrari with a 133.760. He's joined by Raptor, Lowe, Ozda, Frisbee, Torpedo, Pelly, Ryan Hurricane, Fiend, Zola, Young Maneuver, Starfish, Mr. Worsen, Gabo, and XRL Flavor. And Waddington, Ocean Lion, and Beastian all do not advance. And Waddington is going to have to start dead last because he had to serve a penalty for cutting down and having that accident coming into the, or causing an accident coming into the pit. So for Waddington, dead last starting position for him.
I mean, obviously it's not the best place to start, but I mean, we've got to look at the positives. Fresh tyres, going to be, well, around here, fresh tyres are very good. The undercut is very, very, very strong around here. So don't be surprised if we see some drivers trying to get the jump on the drivers they're racing, if that be it for P10 or for P1. I reckon drivers are going to do anything they can just to gain an advantage. The undercut around it can be worth up to 4 seconds if you do it right. If it's from mediums to softs, softs to mediums is worth about 2.5 seconds. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see in the race.
One other thing that he should be a little bit thankful for, starting dead last means that you get to avoid all the chaos and carnage that is likely to unfold throughout the first lap in the first sector. Again, turn 1, you're going uphill into a blind, very tight left-hand corner. It's at about 145-degree turn through there alone. People like to throw it up there, try to make it 3, 4. We've even seen 5 wide there before. Being last place, you can just kind of hang back and let everyone else rip their wings apart through there.
It's also a very long run up to turn 1, and I literally mean up to turn 1. When most of the time when we say up to turn 1, it just means down the road, but no, here you actually go up to turn 1, and then the track will fall away from you again as you go into the S's. But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very long run off the start, so anyone starting on softs, so Frisbee, for example, we know is going to start on softs. Asda is also on the soft compounded tyre. They're going to have an advantage off the start that will help them a lot because they can get a good start, get the drivers behind them, and of course if you're running behind you're going to be feeling the dirty air.
So this is really weird, and I've never noticed this before, and even when I look at the other Haas, it doesn't seem to be a problem, but I'm following El Frisbee around the track right now, and I noticed that the moment he came out on track, the springs on that car seem extremely bouncy and bumpy. I've been watching him, it seems like it's finally gotten straightened out a bit now that he's started his flying lap, but that entire warm-up lap, the car seemed to be kind of jittery on its suspension and wasn't really sucking down to the ground very well.
Yeah, well, the only explanation I can think of that is that the same company that makes their cars make aeroplanes, so... Or it could just be El Plan. I mean, that would explain why they're so slow, wouldn't it? I do believe they also make Indy cars, though, so...
So yes, that's the thing. So Dallara so the way that the Haas team works, is that Haas will normally buy engines and a little bit of technical information from the Ferrari team, but they commission Dallara to make large parts of the chassis. I think 2 years ago, the entire car was a Dallara, if memory serves correctly. I may be remembering wrong, but yes, Dallara is the one that makes the majority of the Haas's parts. They go ahead and commission them for it. Dallara, known mainly for open wheel exploits. They make almost all the cars in Formula 2 and Formula 3. They make the entire grid for the Indy cars, and they have been doing so since 2008. In fact, if you would just want to stick with the IRL side of the split, going back to midway through 2006, they've been providing all the chassis for IndyCar. Frisbee, despite having a bouncy car, has set the first time of the day, 134.242.
Yeah, my knowledge of IndyCar ends that they're made by Dallara, honestly. Dallara, I don't know. I call it Dallara because I am British. Well, I have grown up with learning British. Yeah, apologies if I offend anyone, because I've met some people who do get offended if you pronounce brand names wrong. But then again, I've heard some people who pronounce some brand names very questionably.
I mean, I've said Alpine and Alpine together in the same broadcast, so
Alpine.
I'm sure I have absolutely pissed off a lot of Frenchmen before.
I just hope that...
Then again, I am American, and it's not too terribly hard for us to piss off the French.
Jesus Christ.
And speaking of Alpine, right now, we're watching Fiend. He has invalidated his lap, and he is just kind of coasting around parts of the circuit here, trying to not burn through the fuel too hard. As it stands right now, it seems like a relatively even split between soft and medium tires, but the difference is impressive. Ozda and Frisbee on the softs are in the 34s. Gabo on the mediums is in the 35s, and now Raptor's just gone to the 33s with a set of softs.
I mean, McLaren, straight line speed, and America is all the straights. So, the first sector is basically just flat out for most of it. I mean, for the second half of the S's, yeah, sure, you got to do a couple downshifts, but...
Oh! Instant! Ryan Hurricane has gone around and spun into the inside wall coming out of turn 1. They've got the Williams turned around, and he's going again, but not a great start for his run here.
Yeah, his tyres are more flat spotted than Max Verstappen's, I can imagine. Literally just burning those rear tyres up, not moving, obviously. Through this first sector, I'm honestly surprised that some drivers don't lock their rear diffs just because of how the tyres would work through that sector. So, yeah.
And Elfin Starfish, another spin from the Haas coming out of turn 19. He does get going again, but invalidated that lap, and it wasn't going to be a competitive one anyway. Also, Flavor has set a time, but he must have had a spin somewhere as well, because I see no way that you're going to be setting 152.5s around here unless you're in an Indy Lights machine.
Yeah, IndyCar don't make very quick cars, do they? They made IndyCar and then they made a Haas, so I'm sure I've just offended every American on the planet, so I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, the IndyCar's main idea for a long time have always been max out straight line speed, compromise on mid-cornering speed.
Then what's the point of the wings?
Oh, it's not a total compromise. It's not like we're talking about stock cars, but the wings are there to help them get around faster, sure, but Indy cars in general try to maximize straight line speed in general, and that harkens back to what the origin of American open wheel racing was. It's always been, well, almost always been on large ovals where you had to brake really aggressively in the corners, so the only way you could really get through and make overtakes was just being faster than everyone else and out dragging everyone on the straights. Imagine if the only overtakes you could make anywhere were all DRS overtakes. but it wasn't aerodynamically focused. It was
That's
all
like most
horsepower
tracks.
fixed. Yeah.
Did you see the
And I think
Qatar
we're-
Grand Prix?
I didn't watch it live. I watched the highlights afterwards. I know a lot of people were impressed, but I was not. But it's kind of the thing where it's like, typically the American open wheel mindset is max out straight line speed, so that way the moment you catch someone, you can overtake them without too much of an issue. And although the Indy cars nowadays are semi-spec, that building process, that car constructing process has just kind of been ingrained for like 110, 115 years now. So it's really hard to go back and undo that much time of, that type of development.
Fair enough. I mean, if you want to go faster, you got to add more drag, right? Yeah. I mean, I know they race at a lot of circuits across America, none of which I know, other than, I know they race here. I know NASCAR race here. Maybe they race at some inner. Genuinely, I have Mount Panorama maybe, and no idea.
Mount Panorama is typically done by Australian S5000, and that's only started this year. So yeah.
I must be confused with
IndyCar-
the track then.
Yeah, no. You may be thinking of like Road America, Watkins Glen. They used to go there. One of the problems that IndyCar has is that NASCAR owns a lot of the tracks in the States. So IndyCar kind of has to just run wherever NASCAR doesn't own, because those two organizations are in a bit of a hot war right now with track ownership. So like IndyCar came here in 2019, but then NASCAR showed up during the pandemic and basically saved COTA from collapsing economically. And now because of that, NASCAR basically owns this track in part. So IndyCar can't come here to COTA anymore, but NASCAR can. And that's kind of been the story of how that has gone for a while. But yeah.
Well, I've got a problem, right? There's about 198 other countries in the world. Use one of them. At least.
They
mean,
do
A, you
usually
get more
run
money.
a single... That's the thing. They need to get more money right now, and it's hard to do. IndyCar is kind of locked in a scenario where internationally Formula One eats them for breakfast pretty much, and then nationally NASCAR has been eating their breakfast and lunch basically since about the early 2000s. So
Yeah, I don't know how much money F1 brings to COTA, because when there's a race at COTA, there's not only a race, is it? There's races, there's festivals, there's everything, honestly. Excuse my French. There's everything. Because I remember watching, I think it was 2019 or 2018. I remember seeing images of social media of being this massive concert at COTA. During a race weekend, which honestly I'm not surprised by. It should probably be one of the biggest races, and it is. I think there was, how many spectators were there this year? There was well over 500,000 spectators, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's just that number of people. I honestly don't think that. I'd never thought that there'd be that many people from any single country watching F1, because I know the primary viewership for F1 is the UK. That's, I don't know why that is. I guess, I don't know why, honestly. I think over something like 60% of their viewership comes from the UK, which is just crazy. And then ever since Liberty Media bought out the rights to F1, that number has just gone, it's gone up a little bit, but then again, more and more Americans are starting to watch Formula One, and well, I don't care who watches F1, to be honest, just as so long as it's on the TV and I can watch it not every Sunday, obviously, but Sundays, the best day of my week, to be honest.
So for a little bit of history for Formula One, before World War II, Grand Prix racing in general is kind of a all-over Europe thing, but mainly focused in Germany and Britain. Well, yes, Britain had to deal with a lot of blitz and stuff. The sacrifices that Britain made does not quite compare to the absolute evisceration that Germany went through. So most remaining good European race teams and racecraft that didn't flee they were in Britain. So when Formula One got back underway in 1950, the first race was Silverstone, and it was primarily competed in by British drivers. And since then, Formula One, although it is European in general, it's more British than anything else. 8 of the 10 teams make their cars in Great Britain. So, for all intents and purposes, Ferrari doesn't, obviously. I believe Renault is the other. I believe Renault is the other one.
Don't AlphaTauri also make theirs in Italy?
I think so I will admit my knowledge on the exact logistics for all the teams is not perfect. I know 8 of the 10 teams are based in Britain. Maybe it's only 7 now. But I know last I looked, 8 of the 10 teams were based in Britain.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Aston Martin, because it's a British brand.
Mercedes is based in Britain.
Yeah, Red Bull's based in Britain. Mm-hmm. McLaren based in Britain.
Haas is based in Britain.
Maybe? I'm not sure.
I think Alfa Romeo is. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure AlphaTauri is located not that far from Imola, funny enough. And then obviously you got Monza and Ferrari. Probably name a more iconic duo. Exactly, you can't. Yeah.
Michael Schumacher and winning.
Hamilton has more wins.
Schumi. I'm not gonna go super deep into the Schumi versus Hamilton talk today. Not when there's a championship on the line tomorrow. I like both of them also. That's the thing. I've been very vocal about my opinions in a little bit more private, reserved situations than a normal broadcast. But I really do like both of them.
Who was that around in Sector 1?
Ooh, that looks like Wersen. I think he's had an accident.
Yeah, I think it is by the looks of things.
But that's a very strange place on the racetrack to have an incident at. I
know, he's coming too quick. Has Frisbee got a... I can't tell if it doesn't. There's a weird little glitch on my screen, but it looked like Frisbee had a puncture. And no.
Well, I'm going to try and invite Mr. Wersen into the party and see if maybe he'd be willing to share with us what's happened. Time's up in the session. As it stands right now, nobody, I repeat, nobody is on mediums. Zola's fastest time was set on the mediums, but he's on softs right now. All right, coming to the party right now is Mr. Wersen. Wersen, please go ahead, include your audio. Accident there in Sector 1, what happened?
Well, I was inside the curve at the exit turn 1, and I just spun around. I think I was pushing a bit too hard. I saw I was a little bit down on flavor, so I decided to push a bit more, and I spun around, and I hit the wall.
Alright, rough to see you out so early, so now I just have to ask, do you think you can rebound in the race?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll try my very hardest to try to get past the guys in front of me, and we'll see what happens.
Alright, well, good luck out there.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, I do want to apologize a little bit for the viewers. Veloce and I ended up kind of rambling on about history and racing and stuff like that more than focusing what was actually on the race. I tried to keep enough focus on the track itself so that way if you were visually paying attention you understood what was going on. Interesting things to note though, nobody going into the next round of qualifying on the medium tires. Everybody in the end said that they value track position more than tire choice. So this could be very interesting because we could see the entire top 10 stars of the race on softs. If everyone behind them is on medium or hards, we could have a lot of interesting midfield battles in the first third of this race.
I feel like a lot of them are just going to file behind each other one by one for most of the first stint of the race, to be honest, because it's a hard track to overtake unless you have DRS, especially if you're stuck on a DRS train. Because following through Sector 1 is already pain enough. Then Sector 3, a lot of slow, low-speed corners, but none of them have a big enough braking zone for you to really be able to send it down the inside. And probably the two biggest overtaking opportunities are at turn 1 and the hairpin at the end of the big straight.
All right, we're going to try real quickly and get Elfin Starfish into the party. He's had several spins in both rounds of qualifying. He was only able to go 11th fastest, so I am a little bit curious if he's going to be willing to join to the party. I am a little curious to see if he'd like to elaborate on what the issues might be today, other than the fact that he's in a Haas.
That might be the problems, really. All of them.
Well, this is race 6 of this season of XRRL. So you have had 2 Haas's entered in every single race thus far. So basically, out of 10 start attempts by Haas cars this season, only 2 of them have seen a Haas running. Only 2 Haas's have finished when they've started races, to put things in perspective. I hope what I'm saying makes sense.
It does.
We had
make
one.
sense,
Okay, good.
yeah. 2 entries into each
English
race.
may be the. Yeah.
Yeah.
English is my only language, but I will also admit I butcher it real badly. All right, coming to the party right now is Elfin Starfish. Starfish, please go ahead and include your audio. Sadly, you did not make it into the shootout for the pole. 11th fastest for you, but we noticed you had a lot of spins and instants in the first 2 rounds of qualifying. What's going on with that car?
It's a Haas. I don't think I need to say more than that. Like,
It's a Haas, the back end naturally just wanting to go first into the corner, I imagine.
I'm pretty sure my dad's Ford Focus is more rear down forcing this.
Alright, well, I do want to ask about this. In session 1, I believe it was you. Maybe it was Frisbee, but I'm pretty sure it was you. I think you had a spin coming out of turn 19, came to a stall, then you got going again, but as you were coming in, we saw a Williams cut down right in front of you on pit entrance, and you ended up hitting the inside wall of the pit lane to try and avoid before getting reset to the track. Was that you? I want to make sure that was you.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, what happened there? Was it just lack of communication between you and the other drivers? Just were you too aggressive trying to come in? Was it something on his end? What happened?
I thought he was going to be a bit faster going in, but he was quite slow, and then I had to slam the brakes on, and he just avoided him. But I think I actually did hit him, and it reset me to the thing. But, you know, that's the story.
Alright, well, I do have a little bit of good news for you, though. Starting 11th, that means you will have fresher tires than everyone ahead of you at the start of this race, and you still have tire choice. Everyone in the top 10 is going to be on softs. You can choose whatever tire you want, so do you think you can utilize that tire choice advantage to make up positions in the race?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Frisbee will probably end up spinning or running away from some sort, so that's a free position.
And just as you said that, he invalidated his lap. So
He's washed. Yeah, it's basically a free position with him. I'll probably start on the softs because the Haas and mediums is basically a death. Like, you're not going to have any pace. I'll probably just send them down the inside, hope for the best.
Best of luck.
Alright, well, we'll be watching you as you make a crazy dive bomb, it sounds like, going into turn 1. Here's hoping that doesn't get you any penalty points.
Max Verstappen-esque.
Yeah. If you don't leave me room, I will make sure you don't finish.
It's hard racing, as Christian Horner would say.
It's hard racing. Oh yeah, you killed a driver? Oh yeah, fucking hard racing.
Hamilton gets it from the second. Oh, that's not on.
Hamilton, like, goes into the back of you. Nah.
Well, I better get back to my watching Frisbee bottle pole position.
Yeah, we all better.
Alright, well, good luck in the race, mate. Hopefully we do not have to talk to you again until the race is totally over.
This time's the charm. My first time finishing an extra race will happen today.
Alright, I like that confidence.
I'd say later.
Alright, well, as we turn our focus back to the racetrack, Gabas John has gone to the top with a 133.548. Lowe and Ozda have set times, and here we are, Pelly up there, 133.338.
Yeah, funny, I was going on board with them in the last sector, and he made a fair few mistakes in terms of oversteer in the last sector, but yeah, I mean, still managed to pull out that time, so at least he has the confidence that if he goes out again, he can probably correct those mistakes and perhaps get well into the 132s.
Raptor and Torpedo are now out on circuit doing outlaps. Frisbee is trying to make another attempt at this, but his fuel light is flashing. I don't know if Frisbee's going to have enough fuel to make a real good run at this pole position here.
I do believe that the light starts flashing at around about 0.8 laps of fuel. Although I can't tell.
Oh, it doesn't sound any good for him. I think he may be
I'm
out.
watching his throttle trace and he's only at half throttle, so yeah, he's run out.
I think he's out.
Yeah, he's at full throttle now. Yep, he's out of fuel. Who's on the lap right now? Oh, I'll tell you.
Right now,
Zola is up on his lap.
Zola also getting a bit of a tow actually off of his teammate Raptor. No, Zola pulls over. Zola is pulled over.
Peculiar from the McLaren team. Trying to employ some slipstream tactics, perhaps.
Well, I don't think they've lined it up very well because Raptor's only on an outlap. This lap here is not going to be enough to get him into the next round. So, I'm sorry. This lap alone is not going to be enough to count for anything because he started this one in the pits. It's only once he hits the start-finish line that will start being able to count.
Honestly, I think this is going to be the pole lap. We'll see what the time is as we come to the line here.
Raptor invalidates in the final corner. And Torpedo's invalidated almost immediately at the start of his lap as well.
Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari. Can't change it. I mean, it's just kind of written in history, to be honest. It was like that at the start of the decade, start of the century. Actually, pretty sure that was when Williams was still dominating. But still, Ferrari, McLaren, their battle will go on forever. Invalidating, both of them invalidating their laps within the first 20 seconds of their laps. I mean, what can you do really other than hope for the best? I mean, they are both going to get another lap, thankfully. But will it be enough? Well, we'll have to see in about 5 minutes' time.
And for a little bit of history regarding the Ferrari versus McLaren battle, like you said, it's gone for a long time. It's honestly potentially the oldest rivalry within Formula One. McLaren is a very traditional F1 team. Oh, Azda spinning nearly on. He's on a cooldown lap and he just nearly spun coming out of a hairpin. That was interesting.
He has no fuel when he nearly spins. That takes more skill than spinning a Mercedes or a Red Bull in this game, to be honest. Which is very hard because both cars are very, very, very planted. Why is he going to? I thought he was going to the line for a second there. What are the rules in? I don't actually know the rules regarding the pit limit line. Are you allowed to cross over it or what?
I will admit I've not noticed it myself, even though I've started participating in XRO races over the last several weeks. I follow whatever it shows on the racetrack. If I see lines saying, "Hey, this is how you come in," that's what I use. It's always a better safe than sorry thing for me, at least. I'm also normally far enough. Oh, Raptor!
Nearly
What?
hitting the start of his lap.
This is one of the strangest final qualifying sessions I think I've ever seen. We have just a little bit under 4 minutes left, and there are only 3 cars on track right now, and only one of them in the middle of a lap, and it's not going to be a very good lap by Raptor because he had that instant right at the start of it. And he invalidates in the S's.
Peculiar, frustrating. That's all that's all that Raptor's going to be feeling now. I mean, I don't know how Raptor deals with pressure, but so far it looks like he's dealing with it by not doing his laps legally.
Raptor had a very strong start to the season in the Mercedes and the preseason events. He was in Red Bulls and was very strong there. But since transferring over into the McLaren camp, it's been a lot more difficult for him. He did not get a chance to start the race at Suzuka. He did finish the Monaco event, but he finished Monaco 5 laps down. Frisbee, something is wrong on Frisbee's car because the engine is not sounding right, and it seems like he's locked in like the 8,000 RPM range in 4th gear.
No, for me, he's just sitting around now 10,000 RPM. Probably trying to save a little bit of fuel. I don't know why. I mean, I know that fuel drinks gas for gas. I'm not American. I don't know why I called it gas.
I know the fuel drinks gas. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think the two of us are made for each other in the booth. We both absolutely butcher the English language in ridiculous ways.
Yeah, the difference is I butcher many other languages, well, not many other languages, but the first language I learned, I barely speak that anymore, and I'm not sure if I can, if I'm honest. English, second language I learned properly. Yeah, no, I can't speak it that well.
All right. Well, Raptor's finally gotten the lap going where he's not had an incident, but the fuel light is flashing. He needs to make sure he doesn't invalidate anything. Also of note, Frisbee, Fiend, and Torpedo are on out laps, as is Zola, John, and Pelly. Ozda, Low, and Gabo are already in the middle of flying laps, so every single car right now is out on the racetrack.
Yep, every single car from... Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say there, but a lot of cars on track. Well, a lot of cars on track for Q3. For Q1, if there are only 10 cars on track, you're wondering why are there only half the cars on the track.
Raptor's going to benefit from getting a little bit of draft from Gabo, 360720, ahead of him going down that back straightaway. But now we're into these really slow technical sections on the racetrack. You need to be very careful through here. And now he starts putting the power down once more, full throttle through 16, 17, and 18. He lets off, actually, for a little bit there in 17, so he might not be running as much downforce as we are anticipating.
Yeah, we've seen before in XRS.
Ah! And he invalidates on the final corner again. And this time he is out of fuel. Raptor, I hate to say it, he's going to be starting dead last by the looks of it. Well, dead last of the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm going to go on board with Extra or Fiend for this lap of Kota. I mean, turn 1, up the hill, very tight hairpin, and very quickly followed by a long right-hander at turn 2. And then you come into this lovely Maggots and Beckett's-esque first sector, flat out through the whole thing until you drift down into 6th gear, and then flick it into the left-hander, into 5th, down into 3rd and 2nd gear eventually for the left-hander. Trying to get good traction off there, very hard traction zone. The rears are screaming for temperature as you come down this mini straight into the hairpin. Wherever you get a good run off of turn 10, you can get a good exit off and have a good, take the opportunity into the hairpin. Coming down now, this is very long, hit straight. You've got a very good overtaking opportunity. You've got DRS, very easy as well. Most of the time you'll be ahead before the end of the straight. And now coming around turn 12, very clean. Try not to run out wide there is tricky. Very understeery final sector now. Seems to hook up the apexes very well. Yep, hits the apex up there very well. Around the long Turkey turn 8 style right hand corner now. As we round off, come to the end of the lap, very fast left hand, double left hand complex now. Braking for the final corner, down into about 3rd gear, trying to nail the exit of the corner. What time is it going to be? It's 1 minute 33.416 P3 for the Alpine driver.
And Pelly went out there and he's very solidly defended his pole position. He set a time 133.053. No one broke the 133 time in the qualifying sessions today, but still, very good job by Pelly. Ozzy will come across the line, will get his lap in, and it will be good enough for 6, 133.532.
It looks like Raptor is coming over to retire, perhaps? Couldn't tell you what's going on there.
He's totally out of fuel. He is almost totally out of fuel, I should say. So he's just trying to stay out of the way of other cars.
I don't think he knows that these are all AI cars going past him.
Always better safe than sorry, especially in qualifying. You can, as long as you're not a bad driver, you can always rebound from a bad qualifying to have a good race.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis Hamilton certainly can, as we saw in Brazil. I'm sure Raptor can here in Kota as well. Shouldn't be as hard to overtake as in Brazil and in the game as well. S30. Yeah, we can get close to the cars ahead, so she's starting behind her now for Romeo, which isn't notorious for its straight line speed. However, should be able to make quick work of the Alpha driver. presuming that he gets off the line cleanly. I mean, he should make quick work down the straight. Gallon's obviously a very quick driver, along with all these other drivers. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets away well at the start as well, because everyone's on soft tyres. Everyone's going to have the same advantage into turn on. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch the start.
So one of the things to take note of, and I say something about this every single time, you don't get a whole lot of talk about this in normal Formula 1 broadcasting, but this is something very important to note. There is a difference between sticker tires and scuff tires. As we look at the top 10, Pelly and John, row 1, Fiend and Zola, row 2, Frisbee and Ozda, row 3, Torpedo and Low in row 4, Gabo and Raptor, row 5. So typically, whenever you have a set of brand new tires that haven't had any laps on them whatsoever, it takes a little bit of time to kind of like knock the newness off of them before you get the maximum performance. But once you start getting the maximum performance, it's there for a little while. When you have scuffed tires, if you've had a tires that have gone off onto the circuit, they've had a heat cycle go through them, typically they warm up much, much quicker. So in this scenario, on the run down to turn 1, everyone in the top 10 obviously starts on scuffed rubber. So they're going to be a little bit faster, and I do mean a little bit faster for a very short period of time. Realistically, considering the way this track is, I think we'll see that advantage go away in the first 4 or 5 corners. Then after that, the drivers with the fresher tires, it starts going in their favor. But there is some advantage to having scuffed tires in races, and we've seen a few times before, drivers will go ahead and will go out of their way to plan their race to use a set of tires that were scuffed and had a lap put on them in one of the earlier qualifying sessions. I have no idea why there is not any attempt to try and progress this thing forward right now. Seems like we're all just kind of standing by waiting at the moment. So now we're just standing by for the moment. Waiting to get underway here. So while we are standing by, we'll go ahead and look real quickly at the standings as they are right now, assuming that they did get... Did they get updated after Monaco? No, I'm sorry. The standings have not been updated after Monaco. So I do apologize. Although it should be Jay Biscon leading the points after he brought home the Ferrari to a victory at Monaco, while Mr. Anderson was not able to even get on the top step, obviously. But still, can't give you the points updates as they are right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hold a moment of silence for those who have lost life, limb, family, property, their homes, or who knows what in last night's devastating quad state tornado attack in the United States. For 1 minute, we'll stand by. Did they screw up? It says that the race is starting immediately. Isn't there supposed to be a 5-minute wait? Well, it looks like we're going to have a lobby restart then. So that means it's probably going to be about another 10, maybe even 15 minutes before we get to the actual start of the race itself. What you're about to see here on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, not going to be the actual start of the race. After qualifying ends, there's supposed to be a 5-minute break for everyone to get their final strategy locked in for the event. And then they get going we shouldn't have been going onto the track until 6 minutes after the hour. But that's obviously not going to happen now because it's screwed up. So here you are. This is what a start looks like when you have some AI drivers and some people just looking to cause chaos. Yeah, that's a mess. Well, anyways. I've never cared much for helmets. I think the helmet thing is really overblown. So, it's cool that you got a new helmet, but like I'm the last person to ask for about that. Just staying by right now. Alright, here we are. We should be gaining the invite into the new lobby shortly here. Hopefully. Yes, I know about your item shop game. I don't care about that, though. There you are. Here's the invite. Hey, out of curiosity, Veloce, did you get the invite to the lobby? I'm going to guess yes, because he's just loaded in. Veloce, can you hear me? Veloce? Veloce? Alright, it seems like we've had an issue where we may have become disconnected from XRL Veloce here in the broadcast booth. But at the moment, it really doesn't matter too much because we are trying to reset and get the lobby going properly. Alright, so we'll just standing by right now. Veloce, can you hear me? Ozda, can you hear me? Select your car. Just standing by right now until we get underway. The race itself. All right, we're going to try and get going again. If everything works out, we'll be taking the green flag at about 14 after the hour. All right, so prepare to load onto the circuit once more. All right, so it appears we still do not have contact with Veloce, but we are about to get underway here on the racetrack. Aston Martin and Ferrari on the front row here. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go here. And right off the bat, 3 wide, look at the Alpine, throwing up the inside. That's Fiend, there's a McLaren, they're nearly 4 wide there. And up front, it's going to be the Alpine. A Fiend comes out of nowhere to take the top spot over James John. Pelly has fallen to 3rd. Frisbee has bounced up to 4th. They're side by side for a lead though. And John gets it back. Oh, Raptor is involved in an instant though. And the entire front wing is destroyed on his car. There are yellow flags on multiple parts of the racetrack here. Virtual safety car is out. As a bunch of things have happened, both Red Bulls have been involved in an incident as well in the first few corners. Flavor, is there wing damage on the car? I don't see any wing damage on his car. What about Beastian?
Hey, I've got to go deal with a couple of things. And also, yeah, Beastian's missing a left end plate.
Beastian with a damaged left end plate, and then Raptor, the entire front wing ripped off of that McLaren. So it's gone from bad to worse for Raptor here. Bad qualifying in the final round, turning into an even worse start to the race here. Gabo and Lowe having a little bit of disagreement over who's supposed to be 6th or 7th. We are still under a virtual safety car. This helps Beastian and Raptor, keeps them from falling too far off the pace.
Yeah, I've got to go deal with something real quick. I'll be back in about
Yep, go for it. Go.
20 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, go. Flavor gets by Azda on the restart. Azda with damage has to now pit. There's significant front wing damage on his machine. He'll be joined by both Beastian and Raptor in pit road. On track though, Javis John holds the lead over Fiend. And farther back, it is gotten insane. Torpedo, Starfish fighting for 8th and 9th. So both Haas's once again have brought themselves up into the points, but will they be able to finish the race? We know the drivers can squeeze results out of the Haas's. They've just not been able to squeeze finishes out of them. The entire field seems to be in a bit of a DRS train from 2nd all the way back to 11th right now. I say DRS train, but DRS hasn't really been enabled yet. Look at this here though, Frisbee, Pelly, Zola, all on top of each other as they get onto this nice long back straightaway. Torpedo there in 9th, getting maximum draft from the Soul. He's actually gonna try and overtake Starfish on his own, throws it up the inside at the end of the back straightaway, and he will be alongside, but can't make it stick. Lowe has gotten by Gabo just a little bit farther up. Starfish still trying to hold off Torpedo as Frisbee now gets by Pelly for 3rd. Here comes Starfish, he's back on the inside, and he's gonna muscle his way by Gabo. So the Haas machines moving their way up through the field very quickly here as DRS has been enabled. A little bit of a kerfluffle going on there for 7th through 9th. Torpedo to the inside of Gabo, there's contact. Torpedo saved the car though. And now Waddington catches up, but the front 3 have all broken up a bit. James John 1.2 seconds ahead of Fiend. Fiend 1.3 seconds ahead of Frisbee. But now Frisbee's already tightening that down here in the S's. Oh, and Zola's had an incident. There's an accident, a multi-car incident. And that's Zola and Gabo, and that is a full course safety car. Disaster. They've already gotten it cleared up, but the full course safety car, this will be good news for Ozda, Raptor, and Beastian, but for Zola and Gabo, frustration as they will not be able to score any points in the race now. Ocean Lion now gets a time penalty for track violations. Is anyone on the front pitting? I don't see anyone in the front making stops here. Ozda's still 32 seconds off the back of the grid, so, and he's on brand new tires, so I think for Ozda, Raptor, and Beastie, they're not even gonna bother with stopping. For Zola and Gabo, though, DNFs early on from an accident in the S's when Zola got sideways and Gabo had nowhere to go. And it would appear that no one is going to pit under this safety car, so it should be a relatively, well, it's still going to be a long-ish safety car. We're probably not going to go green until lap 5 or 6, maybe. And Ozda still has yet to catch up to the back of the grid. Here, now Ozda's starting to close in, but he's still a good 24 seconds off. He will close in a bunch here on the straight, though. As we continue to run under full course safety car, after the first accident of the day, sees Zola and Gabo out of the race. Both Haas drivers, though, have been gaining positions this entire time. Starfish from 11th to 6th, and Frisbee has climbed his way into the podium positions now. And he was catching Fiend on merit as well before this yellow flag came out. So if they can bring those machines home, Haas might be able to earn some good points today. Here we are. Ozda finally catches the back of the grid here. We're not going to go green until lap 6, so... Alright. So the game has just selected to give Flavor a penalty for a collision with Ozda, but I was watching Ozda as he came up on Flavor. There was no penalty. There was no reason to give a penalty. There was no contact between those two. So Flavor has a... Word is that Flavor is apparently lagging on the circuit, but we cannot see it here in the booth. But irregardless, that'd be a 5-second penalty that we'll likely see get removed post-race. But now the entire grid has gathered up. Still, Zola and Gabo have both declined to talk and speak with us about what has taken them out of the race, so we are now down to only 16 cars at this stage in the event. We should be going green on this lap, though. There's the word safety car coming in this lap. So Fiend, who threw himself up in the middle of a three-way fight amongst 4 cars in turn 1 on lap 1 and led for a few corners, he's going to have one more shot at trying to get by Davis John here. Raptor and Beastian holding back a little bit. Now they close back into the back of the grid as we're about to go underway. And green flag once again at Circuit of the Americas, and Flavor has had an incident. Flavor has dropped all the way to the back of the grid, coming to the green. No good news for the Red Bull camp, it would appear. Fiend holding on behind Jabez John. Torpedo gets the time penalty for track violations, as he is following very closely behind Starfish. Starfish himself is right there behind Lowe at the moment. Worsen is closed on Waddington a bit through the S's, but everyone's gone single file already through the S's alone. No movement by anybody. Looks of it to try and make moves going down the inside. And Raptor, another incident for Raptor. He has had another front ring ripped off that car completely in the hairpin. Starfish, Torpedo, neck and neck for position. And it looks like it's going to go in the favor of Torpedo for the moment. No! Starfish was able to put the power down, coming out of there. No power ahead of the Ferrari. Like the battle's gone in Starfish's favor, but the gaps are opening up at various points in the field. One gap that is not opened up, though, Frisbee is still hammering down on Fiend. Fiend, actually, it seems more like Fiend is just falling off significantly in pace more than Frisbee is closing on him. But Frisbee is within draft. Will he make a dive bomb to the inside at the end of the straight? It looks like the answer is a no. He'll hold on for the moment and just take a nice conservative DRS overtake a little bit later on. No one right now really making moves in the grid. Ozda is putting a little bit of pressure on Young Maneuver, though. But nothing on track yet. Frisbee within a third of a second of Fiend coming to turns 19 and 20. Now onto the front stretch. DRS has been enabled, so we'll see DRS coming to play once they get to the back stretch. Does Frisbee make a move going into turn 1? No. But it's very clear, though, that Fiend is holding Frisbee up, and it's letting Jabez Young get away from the Haas. Torpedo is trying to fight back against Elfin Starfish. He's closed the gap down again to less than half a second. But now it starts stretching back open again in the S's. Down the back straightaway with DRS. Both of them have DRS. There's the move. Frisbee by Fiend easily down the straight. Fiend left on the outside. Nothing he can do to fight back. And Starfish stays ahead of Torpedo. Hurricane ahead of Mr. Worsen with DRS. And Ozda also completed the overtake on Young Maneuver. Young Maneuver threw it back up on the inside. Side by side through the more tight sections of the circuit. And at the slowest parts of the track, it's going to go in Ozda's favor for the moment. This leaves Ocean Lion to maybe have a chance to make a move on Young Maneuver. but Anze gets a time penalty for track violations. And Torpedo back on the outside of Starfish. So the two of them continuing to fight. They are in a drag race going down the front straightaway. They both have DRS open. It looks like this will work in Starfish's favor. He's able to pinch Torpedo to the outside. Torpedo cannot turn in fast enough, and once again the battle goes in favor of Starfish. But these two keep fighting, and it's keeping them away from the drivers in the top 5 positions. Pelly right there behind Fiend now. Pelly took the pole position but has not led at all today outside the first few hundred feet off the line. And there we are, Torpedo again over Starfish with DRS assist this time. So now DRS is coming into play, as is Waddington. Waddington started dead last on the grid, and now he has worked his way up into the 8th position on track. Starfish now has a time penalty for track violations. Fiend is keeping just close enough to Frisbee that he's able to hold on to DRS, and that's keeping him ahead of Pelly for the moment. That seems to be DRS trains all the way through the grid right now. The Red Bulls of Beasting and Flavor, though, have both significantly fallen off pace. They do not seem to have what it takes to be able to keep up with the rest of the grid. Raptor, after having 2 damaged front wings, he is running about half a lap down as it stands. Pelly now there. He's looking to the inside of Fiend on the run down to the hairpin. He backs out of it just a bit so that way he can be guaranteed DRS. Fiend more than 2 seconds off from Frisbee, so he doesn't have any DRS or draft from the car ahead. He's a sitting duck compared to your pole sitter. Lowe is there as well. What will Lowe do? Lowe will go around the outside of his teammate, side by side in the Alpine camp. And it's going to be Lowe who's going to keep his teammate Fiend pinched to the outside. There's nothing that Fiend can do out there. So Fiend now falls from 3rd to 5th. But now Lowe and Fiend will have DRS against Pelly on the main straight. And this has also brought Torpedo up into the fight. Torpedo right there behind Fiend, but not able to make a move in the hairpin. Neither is Lowe on Pelly. Fiend now trying to hold off Torpedo. Torpedo made the move with DRS going down the back straightaway, but could not keep it together. Starfish now closing back in on that fight. see Pelly weaving across the track to try and break the draft from Lowe, and Lowe just follows him along that entire weave. The Alpine closes in significantly on the Aston Martin down the straight, but that seems to be it. Frisbee now has a time penalty, and it seems like Frisbee's marched up through the grid, has stalled out at second. So now Starfish has caught Torpedo once more. Torpedo is being held up by Fiend. Torpedo making the move on Fiend. He dives to the inside. Car is a little bit skittish under braking. He's got it for now, but he's trapped on the outside over the next few corners, and that keeps it in Fiend's favor. Torpedo trying to do a crossover, but the crossover just put him on the outside. The next one, a little bit of contact. He very nearly gets run off circuit. Starfish has to back out to not hit the Ferrari. See the tires starting to go away, and they're really struggling to put power down coming onto the straights. Here's Torpedo on the inside of Fiend. Looks like it'll be a very easy DRS overtake now. So Fiend had an absolutely amazing start to the race, but has been gradually losing time and position since, and now he gets a time penalty as he's trying to stay within the draft of Torpedo while not compromising the downforce of that car in the S's. Oh, big twitch from the Ferrari ahead, another big twitch from the Ferrari. The tires are falling off a cliff across the board. Here comes Starfish to the inside now. And they both have DRS on Torpedo, but Fiend is faster coming onto the straightaway. They're all closing in on Torpedo. Here comes the Alpine, throws it to the inside. Can't make it stick. Contact. Starfish hits Fiend from behind. And there you are, Starfish. Brutal overtake on Fiend in Sector 3. It's another 1.9 seconds back until you get to A. Waddington. The Fiend went from fighting for a lead early on down to 7th. Torpedo, another time penalty now. Farther back, Yun Maneuver is actually holding on to Ocean Lion. He's lost the position several laps ago, but he is holding on. Starfish, another time penalty now. Fiend wants to try and make one more shot at Starfish, and he'll try and do it going down the back straightaway. You can visibly see how these cars are starting to step out on the drivers. No DRS for Starfish. Fiend does have DRS, so he'll easily make the move to the inside. Get 6th back. Starfish, he'll let him have it for the moment as a little bit of overtake between teammates. Hurricane will pass Waddington, going down the back straightaway. Raptor time penalty now, and Ozda gets by Worsen as the soft tires have completely fallen off a cliff. Ozda is starting to come back with slightly younger medium tires, and this has put Ozda back into the points, although Worsen has the corner, or at least has that next corner, so he'll get back ahead of Ozda for our next few corners. But it seems very clear to me that the AlphaTauri is stronger by virtue of having a better set of tires right now. Farther up the grid, Starfish now behind Fiend with DRS. He looks to the outside, neck and neck for 6th. Can't make the position stick. They're still side by side though, going through 2. Now they're side by side. Someone's gonna have to back out, come into the S's. It will be Starfish. So while one Alpine is struggling to stay with the lead pack, the other Alpine is trying to take over the lead of that group. And that's Low. Low is within 2/3 of a second of Pelly ahead. Now it opens up just a bit. But DRS is in Low's favor. But the main battle is this one here, Fiend and Starfish right now for the 6th position. And as these two continue to fight, they're losing touch with the drivers ahead. Waddington by his teammate Hurricane again, so that Williams in a class of their own, not fast enough to deal with the top 7, but fast enough to stay in the points. Starfish ahead of Fiend. There we are, neck and neck. Low ran Pelly a little bit wide, kept it legal though. Low now has 3rd over Pelly. What does Pelly do to fight back? Nothing. As Ozda and Werson are in a little fight of their own, and it's going to go in Ozda's favor this time. And 2nd is pitting, 3rd is pitting. So now green flag pit stops are beginning to take shape here. Frisbee and Low pitting now 2nd and 3rd positions, but no one else in the lead pack is doing the same. In fact, it looks like no one else, period, is pitting. Raptor might, but Raptor's also numerous, like about half a lap down. So this has put Frisbee back on track in 8th. 7 seconds behind Hurricane, so he's going to have Clean Air ahead of him. Low is 11th behind Werson, so he has Clean Air for the moment, but that Clean Air is going to be gone very quickly because although Werson will be pitting soon, Ozda's not. So this is really going to potentially hold up Low. He may have fast tires, but he's still going to be burning them up. In fact, he's already caught Werson and Ozda right almost immediately. So Low's going to have to manually overtake Werson and Ozda if he wants to maximize his ability. Farther up, though, Frisbee is already close to 6 seconds out from Hurricane. Hurricane, another simple DRS overtake on his teammate going down the straight. Low by Werson already going down the straightaway. He's already trying to close in on Ozda, but not close enough to make a move at the end of the straightaway. So he's going to try and use the soft tires and go around the outside here in these extremely slow technical sections. He did that with no issue. The leader, Jabez John, has elected to pit. Does Pelly pit? No, Pelly stays out. So Pelly, your pole position driver, will finally inherit the race lead. Torpedo stayed out as well, as did Starfish, but Fiend has come in. Ryan, Hurricane, and Waddington are both staying out. Frisbee will now be able to pick up a position over Fiend, but is he close enough to overtake Jabez Don? He was only out there on track a little bit longer. No, he will not overtake Jabez Don, but Don has a problem. He has put on medium tires, and he's 2.2 seconds out of the Williams, so if he's too fast, he'll close on the Williams and end up holding himself up. But right now, Frisbee is going to be way faster than John in this stint. Werson finally pits, and that drops him back quite a ways. Young Maneuver came out right in front of Fiend. I'm sorry, Fiend has lost the position of Young Maneuver. I don't know how that happened, but Fiend has fallen behind Young Maneuver now on the mediums. So a potential issue, Fiend may not feel confident on that medium set of tires here. Ooh, Young Maneuver, big twitch. Here comes Fiend with the speed. Diving to the inside into the hairpin as Waddington and Hurricane make another simple DRS exchange of positions. Fiend gets Young Maneuver going through the hairpin, and due to where the detection zone was, Fiend has DRS, Young Maneuver doesn't, so Fiend will open up the gap on Maneuver. So now, at the front 5, who elects to pit? Pelly stays out another lap, but Torpedo will be pitting out a second. Here comes Elfin Starfish. Does he pit? No, he will stay out another lap. Here comes the Williams. They also will stay out another lap. The little fight that the Williams have been having between themselves all day long is now going to have a wrench thrown into it because there's a much faster Ferrari behind them. Jabez John has closed right into the two of them. Here he is. He's already trying to make the move on the inside, going to turn 2. Big twitch. He has to back out of it. And now Frisbee has caught Jabez John. And this fight between Frisbee and Jabez will become the de facto fight for a lead. But the advantage is that John has not gotten any time penalties. Frisbee does have time penalties. It's going to be extremely difficult. All 4 of these cars, 3 of them will have DRS. John has DRS on Ryan Hurricane. Ryan Hurricane has DRS on Waddington. Down the straight, the 2 Williams are side by side. And there's no room for the Ferrari to get by. And now Frisbee is right there. The Williams are still neck and neck ahead. Frisbee looks to the outside, can't make it stick. Pelly, your race leader, Pelly has had an incident and a big dive by the Haas. And Pelly has crashed out of the race lead, and that is a full course safety car. Pelly just gets a penalty for a collision with Waddington. And Pelly, your race leader and pole setter, has had an accident that will take him out of the race. You can see on the inside, it looks like he put the power down, coming out of 15, and the car went right around on him. And for the drivers who had not yet pitted, this is a godsend. But Waddington has not pitted. Waddington did not elect to pit. So now when he does pit, he's going to lose a chunk of time. Or will he? No, he will. He's going to lose a chunk of time. But we're going to try and get Pelly in here and hear what happened from his perspective. Azda, Yum Maneuver, Beastien Flavor, Worsen all in the pits now, putting on new tires, and that will help them significantly on the move up through the grid. So after a long green flag run, everything's stalled out a little bit now. And Flavor, now in 14th position, but the time penalty that he had, 5 seconds, the time penalties is off. Raptor, he will go ahead and pit, obviously. And that'll work out in his favor. He'll be able to put on new soft tires and maybe start making up ground on the track. But now Waddington on 18-lap old softs leading the grid. And when he pits, realistically, it looks like he's going to fall back to about 10th or 11th position. If not worse, this has gone absolutely horrible for Waddington. Did not make the call to pit as soon as he could have. His teammate Ryan Hurricane is there in 8th right now. And Frisbee now has the lead of the race, but now also has a time penalty for a collision with Waddington. A little bit of a disagreement there between Fiend and Starfish on who's supposed to be where. For Oz, this is not a great time for us to happen because he had just pitted for softs, and now everyone around him is on softs are about a lap fresher. That'll be a little more than a little bit frustrating for him. We're anticipating to see Waddington pit, and that will give the race lead to Frisbee. But John has no time penalties. Frisbee has 11 seconds worth right now. It's Flavor now rushing to catch the main grid, as is Raptor. And Waddington, we see him dropping down the order rapidly. Looks like he's going to fall to maybe even 12th or 13th. Yeah, he'll fall to 13th position, so not great for Waddington. We should be coming green, though, on lap 21, considering that Flavor and Raptor will be closing on the back of the grid very quickly here. Right now, only two drivers do not have time penalties. That's Flavor and Jabez John. Everyone else has earned time penalties today. So we look at them. Most of them have just been 3-second time penalties, but Starfish has gotten 9 seconds. Torpedo, Fiend, and Ozda all have 6 seconds. And then Frisbee had 6 seconds and now also has a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Waddington just as the safety car was coming out. As we now see Flavor and Raptor catch the back of the grid. Anticipating to go green this lap. Well, on the upcoming lap, lap 21. A little bit over a third of the way through the race. This is going to be a very interesting restart because a lot of people have relatively fresh tires, but it's softs and mediums throughout the grid on almost random lineups here. So this could be very, very interesting. For Lowe, though, in the Alpine, this could be great news because he is on softs while Jay Bastian ahead is on mediums, so he could sneak by the Ferrari potentially. Frisbee really backing up the field very aggressively right now. And now he shoots out of 19 like a cannon. Good restart for Frisbee. John cannot keep up. Already the gap is over a second between first and second alone. Oh, but here's the one gap that didn't get blown open. Here's Starfish on Torpedo. So both Haas drivers with a very good restart. Starfish now up in the 4th position. Beastian, something has happened to him. He made a move and then lost it. He's gone right back to 13th spot now. Starfish, time penalty for track violations in the S's. And here goes the Ferrari of Torpedo, about to lose it to Fiend there. He does. Here comes Hurricane with more speed than both of them. Does he make the move? He does make the move. And it's in contact, and they're in the wall. Multi-car incident, but we're staying green, and Hurricane is going to back off because he does not want to take those positions. He says, yes, I realize I was in the wrong, but they went 3 wide in a very difficult section of the track. Fiend went right around. Ryan Hurricane, the Ferrari Torpedo, hit the inside wall. Now Fiend's on the fight back, but he is not going to be happy about that whatsoever. Up to 13th now, with Flavor ahead. Jan has totally lost touch with the leader, Frisbee. Look at this. Ozda has worked his way up into 5th. Starfish is there in 4th, right behind Lowe. No DRS yet, though. That won't come until the next lap we are anticipating. Hurricane in the pits to repair damage from that incident. Hitting the wall must have damaged the front wing pretty significantly, and now Hurricane's going to be at risk of maybe going a lap down depending on how this race plays out. Lowe not able to do anything to Jay Bastian though, and Starfish is being very aggressive. The Haas drivers have absolutely come to life today. Both Haas's in the top 4. Coming to the inside, we might see both Haas's in podium position shortly here. It's a drag race down the back straightaway. And Starfish backs out of it and falls back in line behind the Alpine. Flavor overtakes his teammate Beastian back there for 11th position now. But that is a drag race between 2 Red Bulls. And for the moment, it looks like that works out in Beastian's favor more than anything else. Ocean Lion drops to 10th, but both AlphaTauris are now in the points-paying positions. Ozda closing just a little bit on the front 4. Starfish trying to make something happen with Lowe here. Starfish, another time penalty, though. DRS has been kicked on, so we will now see drivers gain DRS when they come onto the back straightaway. This could be great news for Starfish. The bad news, though, for both Haas drivers, although their cars have come to life and they have great pace, they have more time penalties than any other pair of cars on the field. Starfish, despite being in the aerodynamic wake of Lowe, just set the fastest Sector 1 of the entire race. So there is no doubt in my mind the Haas drivers have absolutely come to life today. They are both the fastest cars on the track. Maybe Javis Dawn is able to keep up with them, but that seems to be the exception. DRS. Starfish goes to the inside. Neck and neck. A small amount of contact. Starfish has the position. Torpedo gets by Young Maneuver with DRS as well, and Raptor will overtake Fiend down the straight. Oh, Young Maneuver and Torpedo are not done fighting, and Wyton's there ready to capitalize.
Apologies, I just got back. Had some things to do with, but I should be back for the rest of the night now, so yeah, sorry about that.
Alright, well, welcome back then, Veloce. You have missed a lot of very interesting racing, and the leader of the race at one point crashing out and putting us under a full course safety car. But we are back underway, and right now, the fastest drivers on track are the Haas's of Frisbee and Starfish and Javis Dawn. They're in a league all on their own today, it would appear.
Let's see, I hope that both drivers will have some finish tonight. Elfin crashing in qualifying, so he's had a very good result so far. Frisbee as well, also having a good result. Well, it's an all Ferrari top 3, however, it does look like Elfin is going to get DRS down the back straight to have a go on John, sorry. I don't know why I called him G-Bus. on John. John is on medium.
I call him Javis John quite a bit as well. So yeah, the choice in the Ferrari camp to throw on the mediums just as the yellow flag came out has not worked out very well for that Ferrari team because he has lost the lead and it looks like he's going to lose second now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how these drivers were racing about 20 minutes ago, but from what it sounded like you said, picking the mediums was perhaps the wrong choice for Val, but of course the two drivers ahead are going to have to pit again. They're not going to do 32 laps on these tyres, I doubt very much. That'll be some crazy tyre saving if they do. So yeah, G-Bus John, maybe not initially the right choice, but later on he'll come into his own.
Real crazy battling going on right now from 10th all the way down to 14th. There's about 5 cars with a blanket you could throw over them all. And Starfish has just set the fastest lap.
He had DRS, he used quite a bit of his ERS as well, I believe. Yeah, good lap from Starfish.
And Starfish did that while being behind other cars, so without a doubt, Starfish fastest driver on track right now. As Raptor trying to close in on Flavor. Raptor with an accident on the race start and an accident on the first restart. He's now got a good restart. It was the second yellow flag restart, but he's finally got a good run. He's trying to drag that McLaren back into the points after his teammate Zola crashed out early on.
I mean, yeah, I did manage to just catch the Raptor incident at the start. That was very unlucky from him. No worry. Yeah.
Oh! Bastian! Big lockup, and now Bastian and Flavor are side by side in the S's. Raptor has nowhere to go. He's trying to get by both of them. He gets by one of them. Can he get by Flavor?
I know these two are good friends. Now, how much room is Flavor going to leave Raptor on the inside? Why a bit of room, really? It looks like he's not really fighting it too hard. And Raptor's just so good at DRS because he's behind at the detection point. Flavor does not. That means Beastion will be gaining on him all the way down the straight as he did have DRS, as Flavor's fuel light just come to him. Yeah. I'll be interested to see if he can get to the end, considering he's running so scarce on his fuel.
Fiend is just powered by Ocean Lion now for 13th behind them. So a little instant at the front of that 6-car pack almost opens up opportunities for everyone. But at the front, Javis Dawn is not letting Starfish go into the night. He's not going to vanish without a fight. He'll make those tires go on and make them survive.
Yeah,
He
that's
comes
what
out of the hairpin. But here's the big thing. Lowe has now caught the battle up front, and Azza is closing in as well.
Yeah, Givastron also the only driver currently without a penalty, so we presumably won't see the race finish like this, but if it did, he'd probably be...
Oh, yeah, maneuver!
Where is that? That is...
In the S's, and that car is deep off circuit, way off the track.
He must have kept the curb and got a little bit of oversteer there. Perhaps that the curb sput him off into a wall. The tendency to do that in the first sector is quite high.
And the Aston Martin team, one of them having pole and leading laps early on, the other one solidly in the top 10 all day. Now, no points available for either of them.
Very unfortunate for both Aston drivers. I do recall you saying from qualifying that Ferrari and Aston are almost the two to look out for on the race, but it looks almost as if it's Ferrari and Haas this race.
Indeed, it's been a very interesting change in fortunes here on the track.
I'm seeing now a couple of fuel lights starting to come on. Frisbee's has come on now, and it wasn't a number of laps ago, so maybe he's just running his fuel a little bit low, or maybe the Haas is just burnt a little. You never know. It's interesting as well, because under the safety car, I would have thought he would have saved enough fuel to get to the end, but and then again, this is double the length of what I would normally race, so yeah, it's interesting to see fuel like an Alpha Starfish as well starting to come on. They're going to have to put some fuel saving measures into place later on into the Grand Prix to just make it to the end.
The other issues for the Haas drivers is that the two of them have more time penalties than anyone else on the grid right now. Frisbee with 11 seconds, Starfish with 18, so they need a lot of luck and a lot of fortune if they want to finish in the podium position the way that they've been racing.
Yeah, it's going to be unlucky. I'm guessing Alfin isn't all track limit penalties. Oh, it looks like John is going to go down the inside into turn 12. Does he get it done? No, Alfin is able to hold it around the outside there. Very impressive feat. Not the easiest place to defend on the outside, but he gets it done. However, John is going to have another little splash of DRS down the pit straight. And he isn't pulled that far back in this last sector, making it look almost easy to follow. Apologies. Making it look almost easy to follow in this last sector. Coming around the penultimate corner, the gap is just over 0.6 of a second. However, he does get a little bit of a better exit than Starfish initially. And he's going to have DRS all the way down the straight, 0.5, 0.4. It's not going to be quite close enough to send it. And the braking zone, oh, it's going to be very, very, very close to the apex of the corner there.
He definitely thought of sending it and backed out the last possible moment. But all that little fighting, now Lowe is 100% a part of that fight, and Azza is there as well now. Fiend in the pits.
I think at this...
And Ocean Lion has come into the pits as well. And they both had relatively decent tires, so I wonder if there may have been some sort of damage to those cars in an instant that we may have missed.
Perhaps so. I have a feeling that Starfish is almost trying to play the second driver here, trying to defend the position from John, because I have a feeling he knows if John gets past Elfin, then it's going to be a pretty easy road to get up to Frisbee.
Ooh, Starfish! Starfish using a bit of that Pruitt fade going down the back straightaway, and he'll use that to squeeze the advantage of John's DRS out. A little bit of contact. Lowe is there, Azza is there. Now Starfish shoots out a 15 like a cannon, opens up a gap in 16, 17, and 18. But the advantage will go back in John's favor, coming onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, I think we can also see Asda and Lowe getting into the scrap a little bit. Asda getting very, very, very close to the back of Lowe. He's got to be close.
Here comes John to the inside. Contact.
Yeah, Elfin is defending like a lion here, to be honest, despite his lack of fuel. He's managed to keep it behind in this first sector. Should be very hard to follow through, but it looks like John is just managing to find his way around the dirty air of the Haas, which I can't imagine is the nicest thing to follow. And at the end of the S's, the gap is about 4.5 tenths, which is slightly smaller than what it was last lap, but it depends who can get a better drive off this hairpin, and it looks like he's going to go for just a little move to maybe unsettle Elfin on the traction here. Gapping up to 5.5 tenths per second. Elfin going off the track over there. That's the extent of going. He's trying to break the toe.
Oh my goodness, Lowe, what are you doing? Wow, contact, and Lowe's by them both. Oh wow, Ferrari dive bomb, and it goes all sideways for James John as he spins around.
Is he going to hit the other Ferrari? That's the thing. Torpedo's very close. He's not going to hold him up, I don't think. No. Good team play there from John. Not holding up Torpedo too much. Of course, he wants to try and get him as close to Alfred as quickly as possible with his 18 seconds of time penalties.
Frisbee has elected to make a stop. That was probably the best time he could do it when everyone behind him just had their worst lap. But I think the driver who really benefited from that more than anyone else is Ozda. He saw all that fighting, he backed out just a little bit. So when it all went sideways ahead of him, he was able to capitalize, gain a position, and he's not burned the tires up too much.
Yeah, I think Torpedo could still be in a pretty good position. Well, both the Ferrari drivers actually. Hopefully they don't hold each other up too much because, well, they want to finish the best they can for not only themselves but their team also. Because, well, at least in real life, all money is won in the constructors. But as a little quote I heard the other day from, I believe it was Martin Brundle, the money's in the constructors, but the prestige is in the drivers.
All right, coming onto the backstretch once more. Ozda into the dirt. Bad hairpin exit for Ozda, sadly. So now it's just a two-man fight for the lead. Starfish behind Lowe. DRS easily gets alongside the Alpine, but cannot complete the overtake before the hairpin at the end of the straight. Well, it's not really a hairpin, it's just kind of a tight corner. But Starfish will complete the overtake, exiting it. John by Waddington.
Big crash of the tires from the session there. He just lost the back end on the traction off of 13. No, he's out of this race. That's a yellow flag. Is there going to be? Don't think there will be a safety car, but that was a very, very big crash from Lowe.
And one of your championship contenders, another bad run for him. We're going to try and get Lowe into the party here and hear what he has to say.
Safe to say it's not the highest moment in his career. Little pun there. Who am I kidding?
Alright, well now the battle for a lead has thinned out even farther. It's now just Elfin, Starfish, and Ozda. Ozda right now outside of DRS range. But again, when Ozda had that mistake, it worked out in his favor because he was out of the way when Lowe ahead of him had his own accident.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can probably do around here is be out probably within about 1.5 seconds of the start of the S's, and then get closer towards the end, because that's where your tyres are going to suffer the least, overheat the least, and you'll still be able to get DRS. He has got DRS, 8 tenths at the start of the straight. I don't think he's quite close enough to go for a move, but then again, Elfin doesn't have much DRS. 5 tenths is going to be very close if he sends it into the corner. Doesn't quite have the confidence or the speed enough to send it into the corner. However, it doesn't
One driver that is sending it is Waddington on James Young for third. Side by side for a third position. The Ferrari is on the outside of the Williams. Can't make it stick through there. Now he looks to the outside in the next corner. Still can't make it stick.
Oh, big contact between Flavor and Wilson there. Not very big, but I'm after to spin Wilson around, and Wilson is now side by side with Exeral Raptor. As they go side by side into turn number 13, still on his outside is Wilson can have the advantage into what I don't actually know the corner numbers.
That's 15 that they just came out of. And now they come into 16, 17, and 18 here. Frisbee has just set the fastest lap of the day.
Ocean quite close to the back of Ryan. On what are relatively fresh softs versus Ryan's wearing hards.
Raptor around the outside of Worsen. Can't make it stick. But the real fight's gonna be at the front. Ozda, now within half a second of Starfish. Not a great exit out of the hairpin, but he's got draft, he's got DRS, he can lay on the ERS. Here he comes for the lead. Ozda trying to get by Starfish. Starfish pinches him down, then runs extremely wide, trying to get the crossover. Not gonna matter. Ozda's fast enough to easily take the top spot. Here comes Starfish with a dive bomb in the next corner.
Yeah, very, very, very close battle between these two drivers. Azra has the inside line, usually the better line through that corner, but Elfin, the launch of the exit off 15 into 16. Now, they still go side by side, very brave of them. However, this does mean that Azra is going to get the DRS down the pit straight, and well, if they come off this close to the final corner of the lap, then, well, he's going to have another easy move. He does seem to have the ERS benefit as well, by about 10%. However, it does look like Elfin isn't using much of his. Azra's going to try and go down the inside into turn 1. Can't quite get it done on the apex. Tries to stay down his inside, but Elfin just gets an amazing run on the traction.
It seems like the Haas is a lot better putting the power down, and then the AlphaTauri is a lot better in the straights and in the corners. So right now, Starfish just seems to be holding on to what may be a gradually losing battle. But the longer these two fight, the more it brings Waddington, John, and Torpedo up into the fray.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but another 3-second time penalty for Elfin. Started 21 seconds with penalties now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
John diving to the inside of Waddington in the hairpin.
Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two of them there. This does perhaps mean that Torpedo could get past Waddington here, because of course Waddington was ahead at the detection point. That means he's not going to have DRS. Torpedo is going to have DRS. He's going to be close enough to send it down the inside of Waddington. Yes, it is. He's going to try and go down the inside into the hairpin. Very, very, very close on the exit. It's still Waddington ahead of the Ferrari.
And up front, Ozda got by Starfish on the straight once again, and this time Starfish could not keep up with the AlphaTauri afterwards. Now Starfish is dropping off significantly from Ozda. I think Starfish has to start backing off to save fuel.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. In XRL, isn't it 21 seconds of penalties of the DSQ?
It would be in a normal race, but in a 100% race, it's 28.
28, alright, that's my bad then. So he's got a couple more track limit warnings then.
Torpedo to the outside of Waddington. Can't make it stick, but this has brought Frisbee back into the fray. And reminder, Frisbee pitted before everyone else ahead of him. He was way off, and now he has closed back in behind Torpedo. So Frisbee might have to make one more stop, I think, before this race is over, but he definitely has pace here.
Yeah, 20 laps ago. It's doable on a set of soft compound tyres. You might have to save them a little bit though. Actually, no, sorry.
Frisbee around the outside of the Ferrari. Then the Ferrari makes a dive bomb on the Williams. This is going to be crazy for these three going down the backstretch.
Yeah, it looks like Frisbee's going to get a fairly easy move done on the Williams. The Williams is going to lose 2 positions in one straight. It looks like Torpedo's going to go to the inside of the house of Frisbee. Oh, not quite. Oh, they're going to be contact very, very, very close. I'm not sure there's a little bit of front wing flying off there of the Haas, but very close between the 3 drivers. Although Waddington is still on the outside of Torpedo as we go into turn 15, and Torpedo is able to go up the inside. However, Waddington is able to get the switch back over to the exit.
And they're still side by side going into 16, 17, and 18 now. One of them's going to have to back out. It will be the Williams. So in a single lap, Frisbee goes from being about 4/10 out of 5th. Now he is in 4th position. And Waddington elects to pit, so he says those tires are done for.
Yeah, that seems to be the sweet spot for many drivers other than Asda and Alpine at the front. 14 laps on soft tyres. When I've seen so far, I've seen Waddington. Sorry, my nose is... Yeah, both Waddington and Alpine have pitted on 14 laps off, so maybe that's the point where the tyres really start to go off.
Well, if so, Asda's out there on 17 lap worn tires, Starfish on 15 lap worn tires, and it's starting to fall against him because John is actually beginning to close in on Starfish on those medium tires. So he's stayed with these mediums long enough that they are now paying good dividends for him. He has DRS on Starfish down the straightaway. But now the problem is, earlier it was a Ferrari versus a Haas. Now it's two Haas's versus a Ferrari.
Down the inside, and he is able to just about get the move down. He's going to be on the outside for turn number 13. We're very close. We're going to try and hold it around the outside as we go into 14 and eventually become 15 on the entry. He's going to be very close. He has to back out as he nearly goes into the back of it, and Frisbee goes down the inside of his teammate. Elfin, I can't imagine that's too much of a problem. He's on much fresher tyres. However, Frisbee's got a very good run on these brand new soft compound tyres as we go into turn number 18. Turn 19, sorry.
Asda pitting out of the lead. So this is now the fight for the lead once more. But again, I think this will work in Frisbee's favor, though. He's got way faster tires and DRS.
I have a feeling Asda could be in with a good shot of the win here. I mean, unless John is planning to go to the end on those tyres, which I very much doubt looking at their age, 18 laps. He's done on those tyres, and Asda is only going to do 20 laps on those softs, which is very much doable.
It's doable, but they're going to be extremely slow by race in, though. And that's going to be the thing. I think right now the advantage is in the hands of Javis John. John can stick with these tires as long as he wants. Chooses to come in for his final stop to throw on softs, and those softs could still be nice and fast at the end.
Yeah, I think John can go to the end on his tyres. Yeah, it's going to be very, very, very close on tyre wear.
The driver, I think, who's kind of missed out on this all is Torpedo. Torpedo was in the fight for a lead, but he just does not have the pace of his teammate and does not have the pace of the Haas's. He has fallen off about 3 seconds off of the leaders, and he's on the same tire strat as his teammate James John. I think there's no way that Torpedo can hold that position over Asda except for maybe penalty count back.
Yeah, perhaps Asda's got a closing 11 seconds. That's going to be...
Oh, Ocean Lion's out! And Fiend's out as well. And there's a full course safety car.
This plays massively into John's hands and Frisbee's. Because Frisbee's going to be able to save his tyres for a couple of laps. Asda, unfortunately, losing out massively here if the drivers ahead choose to pit. Frisbee is opting to pit. John also opted to pit. I think Elfin's also trying to pit, but he's trying to get a bit of a gap as well, as we saw in real life with Bottas. Along with Torpedo as well, so maybe not lose.
So this will filter Asda up into the top 3 positions. All right, coming into the party right now is Ocean Lion. Ocean, make sure your audio is included. Big accident. What happened that took you out of the race there?
Well, I just went into the Asda section, got too much on the brake and just spun off and hit the wall.
All right, it was a nasty incident. It's a shame to see you out, but your teammate Asda is out there fighting for the win. Do you think that AlphaTauri has the ability to stand up against the Haas and Ferrari?
Yeah, I think he does actually have the ability to stand up to them.
I mean, considering that Asda is on fresh softs and Frisbee opted to pit for medium compound tyres, this is going to make it very interesting towards the latter stages of the race, as Asda will have the initial advantage for probably about 10-11 laps, but then Frisbee's tyres will start to come back into their working window.
All right, also coming into the party right now is XRL Fiend. Fiend, go ahead and include your audio. It's not been a very good day out there for you. You were involved in a hairy incident with Ryan Hurricane and Torpedo on the prior restart, and then obviously you crashed out. Can you walk us through those 2 incidents from your perspective?
Well, that first incident, I'm going to have a chat with Ryan after, more than likely on Discord, see what's, see what's happening and stuff, but I had to go into the pits to change my wing as well, because Beastie and cut me off a little bit, so I'll chat with him as well. See what happens about those two. And then I spun on the final corner a bit too early on the accelerator. And then, because my rear tyre was a bit too hot, I spun through the S's and crashed.
All right, no points for either Alpine driver today, so not a great run to say the least. Do you think you guys can rebound next week at Mexico?
More than likely. Because Lowe's very good at qualifying. Especially in Q1, Q2, and then Q3, you know, in the top 10 is always good to start there. My starts are every week. My starts are pretty good. I always try and maybe overtake maybe like 1 or 2 cars at the start of each race I do. So just got to continue working. A bit more practice, I think.
Well, I think without a doubt, Fiend, you had probably the best initial start off the line from anyone else. You basically came seemingly out of nowhere and threw it up 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah.
You were fighting for a lead position for quite a while, so I will say I was very, very impressed by that.
Thank you.
Starfish hitting again onto softs. I'm not sure what car he was on before, but well, doesn't quite lose out to Ryan, but this does bring Ryan back into it, so interesting.
Well.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Fiend, if you have anything else to say, feel free.
Oh no.
Alright, well I do want to say, Fiend, thanks for being willing to jump into the party and talk with us. Same goes obviously for Ocean Lion, although he has just recently stepped out of the party as well. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. If you've not, 1 second, has the party died? Did the party die? God damn it. Alright, gentlemen, please hold on for a bit as I'm trying to get the broadcast booth working again. Alright. And we should have the broadcast booth working now. Don't know what happened there, but it seemed like the party started crashing for whatever reason. We only have 11 drivers left, and top 10 drivers get points. So it's going to be a fight for Ryan Hurricane to see if he can get back into the points-paying positions here. We're coming to the green flag now. All right. Veloce, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, make sure your audio's included. Seems like we have sorted out the problem that happened with the broadcast booth.
To make it easier for future races.
Nice. Ooh, Frisbee really backing up the pack in 19. And he gets away, but he doesn't get away super well. But the Ferraris had a really good restart that time. Torpedo trying to make a move on his teammate. So entertained rivalry going on for the final podium position right now.
Well, it looks like, yeah, John does break a little later, but he does have to hold it right there. So the Torpedo cuts the ball against the 3-second penny, putting the hand position back to John, as well as he gained a little bit of the other left the track. And even the gain makes him give the position back these days.
Starfish has already gotten by Beastie, so Starfish now up to 9th, and it's relatively clear track ahead. He's already rushing to catch up to Mr. Worsen in 8th now.
Yeah, I mean, his only problem is everyone is on the same tyres other than Wado and Frisbee. So, it's going to be close towards the end. Frisbee still low on fuel though. So, if he even makes it to the end, it'll be surprising to see, to be honest. As he's got very good...
I think Starfish is in a great position though right now, assuming that because Starfish does not have to worry about fuel. The only problem for Starfish though is that time penalties are going to work against him. He needs to hope that this race stays green to the end. Hurricane just gets by Beastie now for 10th.
That's the first position Ryan's made up in a while, isn't it? After, well, I'm assuming it wasn't his fault. He was Yeah, I didn't quite see him spin, but yeah, hopefully he can walk away today with some decent points, and as it stands, he'll be promoted into P8 ahead of Worson with time penalties, so I'm sure that'll be a great result for the Williams driver. Although I'm sure he's not going to give up until the checkered flag at the end of lap 56.
Raptor in really hot water right now. He's in the middle of 3 wide, has to back way out of it. Here comes Starfish with a head of steam. He's going to make up 2 positions in a corner, but he runs in the back of Worson. And there's damage on the front wing of that Haas now.
Yeah, I saw that bit of front wing come off. It was quite a large chunk of his entire front left end, actually. So he's now just going to be a sitting duck to the likes of Hurricane and Beastian behind him.
What makes it even worse is that he'll have to pit to repair that damage. That pit stop alone will drop him about 20 to 30 seconds behind 10th place, and then he also has a bunch of time penalties as well. I hate to say it, but that contact might have just cost Starfish any chance of earning points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if... do they have a fastest lap point outside the top 10 point?
I can't remember. I think we got rid of that, but I'm not sure.
I know it's in main league, so I'm just not sure it's in here. But yeah, I mean, he won't want to take it off his teammate. 36.1 at the moment. Actually, the next quickest being himself.
Beastian's now had a spin on his own back there. Said Beastian drops back to 11th again. This has gotten really interesting because the 2 Ferrari drivers will not stop fighting with each other. Jan is fast enough to get by Ozza and walk Frisbee, but because Torpedo won't let his teammate go, it's letting the top 4 all stay on top of each other. DRS is going to come on the back straightaway. Frisbee's going to get eaten alive unless he makes a massive run through Sector 1 here.
He's also on the medium tyres, so yeah, like I said, his tyres might be a little worse right now, but they'll come into their own in a couple of laps time when the soft driver's tyres start to go off a little more. However, he is burning through his DRS like no one's business, and I don't blame him for trying to get away from us there.
Alright, on to the back straightaway now. Torpedo did not have a good run onto the back stretch, so it's going to be Don versus Ozda versus Frisbee for the top spot on the run down to the braking zone at the end of the back straightaway. Ozda to the inside!
Well, these
Frisbee with a time penalty trying to defend, and Ozda gets the spot. Oh, big twitch by Frisbee.
John nearly going around the outside of Frisbee. Frisbee's going to try that run through 16, 17, and 18 now. He is going to get DRS down the pit straight out. This could give him a good run into turn 1, which is probably his next best overtaking opportunity after the end of lap 41.
Davis Don threw the car up on the inside, but he did it in turn 19. Had a bit of a mental hiccup, realizing now he's trying to get by Frisbee. Frisbee's breaking the draft. John's trapped on the outside in turn 1.
I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news for Frisbee, but it doesn't look like mediums are the right tyre to be on. Because despite there being 14 laps left in the race, those softs look like they might just about be able to go the distance and come through for Asda, John and Torpedo.
But for Frisbee, just being able to bring that Haas home in the points would be a great day in itself. Haas drivers have only been able to finish twice out of the 10 prior starts this season. As it stands right now, both Haas drivers are in position to finish this race. For Frisbee, I think more than anything else, he should be looking at just surviving. Here comes another fight between the Ferraris. There are no team orders in the Scuderia camp right now.
Oh, big lug from John there. Frisbee almost gets the switchback, but due to just lack of grip on the medium, he doesn't. Actually, no, he can hold it around the outside. He's got the inside of 15, which is a very strong line. Just completely cuts off John, and now he's going to have to try and gain 3 tenths with 15, 16, and 17, which I hate to say, nearly impossible. You're going to be flat throughout all those corners. He's now lost the DRS to Asda, which is very good for Asda. As John picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's also going to have the DRS down the pit straight, so hopefully get past Frisbee.
He goes to the end, outside. Frisbee thought he would go inside and dive to the inside to block it off. John didn't care. Contact coming out of the hairpin.
Oh no, something bad's going to happen. F1 of the drivers, another 3-second penalty for Johnny's not going to be very happy with that. But Frisbee does somehow manage to stay in front of him in Sector 1.
Both John and Frisbee just got penalties there. Torpedo's hanging out in fourth, but he can't seem to figure out a way by.
But once again, Frisbee does close in about 2/10 in this first sector. However, he's not able to quite close up that.
Oh, Starfish has had an accident there. All by himself, granted, but Starfish has had an accident coming out of the final corner.
John just tried to send it on Frisbee, and Frisbee said no thank you and closed the door. And I'm not quite sure if he got damaged. John is laggy a little bit all over the place, but Frisbee's going to fall all the way back down to fourth now at the end of the straight, as he can't do anything. And now the two Ferraris make contact, and John is in the
That's
lead.
John! And Raptor had just gotten by Mr. Worsen as well, so now Raptor out of nowhere, he was running off pace for about a third of this race, now he's in fourth! And now it's Torpedo who is fine with Frisbee, and this is going to be a bit of a wild card. Torpedo's not fought with Frisbee most of the day today, so Frisbee has no idea how he's going to have to defend against this Ferrari. Raptor has now had a spin and has dropped to 8th, and Starfish has just crashed out as well.
Oh my god, this race has just gone for... Oh, there's another spin from the Ferrari of John. Its rear tyres are going to be, well, hot enough to cook marshmallows, I think it's fair to say. Well, yeah, this race has just gone from bad to worse. From good to bad to worse for John, as he was running up in what would be P4, as Torpedo does now find a way past Frisbee into the start of Sector 1. Is Frisbee going to be able to stay close enough with DRS? We'll see in about 20 seconds time.
He is staying close enough in the first few corners, but now the gap's starting to open up between the two of them. Jabez got another accident. It seems like the car has completely gotten away from him now. He'll come into the pits and throw out a different set of tires. Oh, and a big accident, and John's out of the race!
That looked like he just...
And we're not within, that's a full course safety car, and not only is that a full course safety car, we were not within the last 10% of this race. Jabez John, your points leader, will not walk out of here with any points.
Yeah, okay, that spices up a bit to me. That did look like he went flat out into the pit wall there, so I will be sending that clip off to the stewards for them to have a look at. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but
Alright, coming in the party right now is Jabez John. John, go ahead, include your audio. You've been fighting and pretty much dominating the first third of this race, and it's just also going to gradually walk away from you until that last lap. What happened that took you out, John? John, can you hear me? Alright, we don't seem to be able to establish microphone communication with John. Okay, well, Elf and Starfish. Starfish, go ahead, please, and jump in to the party. You've already jumped in. Make sure your audio's included. Not able to make it to the end. What happened out there?
Well, Mr. Wilson, I don't know why. Maybe he just missed or ran wide or something, but he slammed the brakes on for the S's and like wing damage. So then I had the box, and you probably weren't on my point of view because there's a battle for the lead, but I lost the rear end nearly every single corner that of the mediums, and it was impossible. And then just taking my normal line for the last couple of corners, I lost it and spun, but I kept it out of the wall. But in that first corner, I lost the rear end, caught it again, and then the third time I just lost the rear end, and then I just touched the wall.
Alright, it's a shame for you. Again, another Haas not able to finish the race. However, I will say that Starfish, you have, without a doubt, had some of the fastest times out on the track. Things may finally be turning around, so I just have to ask, do you think you can perform to a good finishing result next week at Mexico?
If you just take away the main straight, yes. Probably, because, I mean, the Haas is pretty good in the corners here. As you probably seen my defending. I was defending for Frisbee, like Alonso was for Ocon, but on the straights it was impossible to keep up. There's nothing you could do, even with ERS.
Well, it's a shame that you were not able to finish this race, but I want to say, from my end at least, if you had, with the drive you put in, if you had been able to finish, I would have said driver of the day for you, because the defensive battle that you were waging successfully for a long time is the stuff that legends are made of. So outstanding, and it's a shame that you've not been able to finish.
Cheers. Hopefully next week will be different.
All right. Well, that's the word from Elephant Starfish. John joined the party, but we weren't able to get any audio from him. I don't know if he just chose not to speak with us or what.
It looked like he was in game chat, which was rather bizarre. Maybe he wasn't last time he was in the party. That would explain it. But yeah, who do you think is in the best position now to win the race?
I don't know, honestly, because here's the thing. Frisbee, for whatever reason, when he came into the pits, he put on used soft tires. So it's not really going to help him whatsoever. For Werson, he has scuffed soft tires. Torpedo might be in a good position. The Torpedo's problem, though, is that he has 12 seconds worth of penalties. So, honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest. Every single car you see on track right now, I think, has a chance at winning this race, because we don't know how the tires are going to fall off. There's one driver out there who is on tires that will last to the end. That is, that's Waddington. But the Williams have been uncompetitive all day today. The only reason they've gotten up to where they are now, second, third, is because drivers ahead of them making mistakes. Mazda is on pretty worn tires, but no one behind him is very fast. Flavor has not had a whole lot of pace today, and neither have the Williams. Raptor is there in fifth, but Raptor is on very worn tires, and he's had a bunch of incidents all on his own. Torpedo is back there in sixth. He's got great tires, but he has a bunch of time penalties, and he has to overtake 5 guys to get to the front. And then, I don't know, literally of all 9 of these drivers here, I think you could put money on any of them, and you could have a chance of walking out of Vegas with a good paycheck.
Yeah, it's going to be very close in the closing stages of these races.
One thing that will help Ozda and, to an extent, Ryan Hurricane, Flavor, and Raptor out a little bit, though, these laps under safety car will allow them to save and preserve their tires a little bit more, so those softs will not be as dead at the end as they were anticipated to be. With that said, also, yeah, I don't know why you sent that message to me, Veloce. I'm not the one who does that. I've only ever once submitted a report, and the only report I ever sent was to make sure somebody finished on the lead lap when the game penalized them unfairly. So I can't answer that. Yeah, you'll have to ask Zolo or Hurricane. All right, here we are. Pace car coming in this lap. 9 drivers, and realistically, I think all 9 of them are in it to win it. Time penalties across the entire field. Everyone has at least 3 seconds worth of them right now. Well, Veloce, I want to say it's been fun. If I die of a heart attack here, I want to say I've been very glad to be able to share the broadcast booth with you, not once, but twice now.
Yeah,
actually, I think it's been 3 times at this point.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I should be here more often now as well. It was a bit just spontaneous last time.
Alright, well, we are underway at Ozda. Great start. Ryan Hurricane not able to keep up. It's a fight already. Torpedo.
Raptor, he's going to brake slightly later. That means he's going to basically have a position where he has the inside line in turn 1. Now on to the back of Flavor, who is on 8 lap on the soft tyres, and that's going to be quite a big difference around here. Torpedo managed to take a slightly straighter line through the S's now, right on the back of Flavor, who himself is on the back of Waddington, who is on the medium compounder tyre, and he is going to fall back a lot in the last stages of this race.
Ryan Hurricane already more than a second out from Ozda. So for right now, it seems like the battle is going to be between Ozda and Torpedo. Torpedo's trying to climb up through this grid as fast as he can. Ozda wants to open up the biggest gaps that he can. Frisbee is already up to 7th. He's working on Raptor, but not able to keep up down the straights.
Yeah, like Elfin was saying, in the straights, that Haas is, well, it's just undrivable, basically. He can't go anywhere. Best hope is to get him into turn 1, I would say. Not a long straight, but straight long enough to accelerate quickly. He doesn't go down the inside. He nearly touches the back of XRL Flavor. Big send from the Haas driver. Now he's up into P6. Now he's behind XRL Flavor, who is just kind of chilling in one of all these battles. Although Frisbee does look like he might have a run into the first corner here, presuming he gets a good exit off this final corner. He doesn't quite get the exit that he needs to send it on the inside of Flavor into turn 1. Goes a little bit defensive, but there isn't really a need to as he's still pulling away, and the gap only gets bigger before turn 1.
All right, Torpedo has now worked his way up into third position. Waddington on those medium tires couldn't do anything to hold off. He did not have enough speed coming onto the main straight to defend. Torpedo, even without DRS, is flying right now. There's only one more car between himself and the leader, Azda.
Yeah, of course he is on 2-lap-old softs, so his tyres are 8 and 9-lap-old younger, than driving in front of him respectively. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much.
Oh, Flavor with a massive dive on Waddington, but he could not make it 6, and now Flavor is going to fall all the way to 6 now.
Yeah, okay, Frisbee might be trying to look at Waddington, but doesn't look like that has a straight line speed. However, he might be close enough to send it down the inside. He's not going to have a look. However, he might be trying to recreate what he did to Rap to get a good run off of 13 into 15 and try to send it down the inside. Well, we're going to see. Yes, he does. He sends it down the inside. Looks like his favourite place to overtake. However, Waddington could get the switchback, not quite close enough to get the switchback. All the traction off turn 15 as we now come through 16, 17, 18 as Flavor looks for a move on Waddington potentially into turn number 20, the final corner. The Red Bull should have all the straight line speed advantage over the Williams into turn 1. Be interesting to see how close he can get going into turn 1.
Torpedo now on the inside of Ryan Hurricane. That's the third overtake he's made on the front stretch without DRS assist. Without a doubt, the soft tires were the right choice for Torpedo. He is the fastest person on track. He's already ahead of Ryan Hurricane. He's just 8/10 out from Mazda right now.
Yeah, this race could look to go in Torpedo's favour. Sorry, I was on board with favour.
Yeah.
In Torpedo's favour as he gets ever closer to the back of Asda, as he does have a little moment at the end of the S, and maybe the tyres are starting to off just a little bit. His rear tyres would be absolutely cooking through that first sector. However, he does have DRS down the straight, and with DRS versus the AlphaTauri, it should be a fairly easy move going into turn 12. However, it doesn't look like Asda's going to give up the position easy as he uses up all his DRS. And he's going to be so outside going into turn 12. Asda turns in, he's going to try stay around the outside, keep the inside line for turn 13, not quite able to keep it. However, turn 15, as we see, is a prominent overtaking opportunity, not quite able to send it.
It doesn't matter. He's already lost touch with them. Waddington's had an issue. So it looks like, in the end, Torpedo is going to walk off with this victory. Azda, gallant effort at the front, but more. Oh, big twitch by the Ferrari coming out of 19. That lets Azda close back into the DRS zone.
Yeah, they'd already gone over the detection point zone. Azda doesn't quite have DRS. They went over the zone just before turn 19, which was just before he made the mistake on the exit corner. Waddington is now pitting for, well, I assume will be fresh soft compound tyres to see out this race.
So Waddington will try and get fastest lap point at the very end here. Ryan Hurricane is within Azda's strike range still, and Frisbee is back there in fourth. But for Frisbee, I think his tires have pretty much fallen off. He might be able to gain another position or two, but now we turn the focus onto time penalties as they are right now. Torpedo has 12 seconds, Azda has 9. If Azda can stay within 3 seconds of Torpedo by the end of the race, he'll still get him on penalty countback. But with the fact that Torpedo has... Well, the problem is that Torpedo's already opened up nearly 2 seconds on Azda in just half a lap alone, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, but Ryan only has 3 seconds.
Oh my goodness, you're right, I didn't realize.
If Ryan can stay within 9 seconds of Torpedo, and his tyres will start to go off Torpedo in the last couple of laps, we could see a Williams on the top step of the podium. He is almost guaranteed to pass Azda here, unless Azda is able to pull away from him now, which she isn't quite able to do through the last sector, which should be easy enough to break the DRS range to the driver behind. Torpedo, another fastest lap, 35.291. He's absolutely flying out. Up to 3 seconds on that lap alone. So, yeah, it's going to be close.
Ryan seems to be held up by Ozda more than anything right now.
Yeah, I think if Ryan could get past Asda, he could still have a shot at the win.
Ooh, Torpedo, another time penalty. And now that puts Ozda and Ryan back into play again for the win.
Yeah, I think Ryan has a significant ERS advantage as well over Asda. Over 40% advantage. So, yeah, it's going to be very
There's one
close.
other person here that might upset this. El Frisbee has caught up to Ryan and Ozda, and while Frisbee has 18 seconds worth of time penalty, so he's not fighting for the win, he could get up there, fight with these two drivers, and end up really upsetting their chances for the win.
Yeah, as Ryan gets ever closer down this pit straight, he's going to go to the outside. Very hard to make move. He'll probably try... No, he's not quite going to have the traction for the switchback. However, he could try it to turn 15, as we've seen with Frisbee many times. However, you have to have a lot of confidence to get on the brake late into there. Not quite able to make the move.
Gap between first and second is now up to 4.4 seconds. Torpedo needs to be 6 seconds ahead of Ozda and 12 seconds ahead of Hurricane.
Yeah, he's only pulled away by about a second. By about a second this lap. So, however, another purple sector 3. So, just shows how good fresh shots are on this tight, twisty, well not tight, sorry, this twisty sectors of 1 and 3.
5 laps to go right now. Hurricane continuing to just hang out behind Ozda. And that's going to work for him for now. But again, if Frisbee wants to start playing wild and trying to make his way farther up the grid, it could very badly damage Hurricane's shot at this win here.
Yeah, it could do indeed. And it looks like Ryan is sitting a lot closer to Ozda than what he was on the last lap. However, this is where he lost all the time on the exit of turn 9, sorry. Yeah,
Here comes Frisbee. Big run on Ryan Hurricane now. Won't commit to it though.
I think Frisbee knows this isn't his race at the moment, and well, he wouldn't want someone to send if they had 18 seconds of penalties behind, and I know I certainly wouldn't. Ryan is getting closer and closer. He has turned off the ERS, so he knows he's not going to quite have the straight line speed advantage over that Alpha Tauri in a straight line to be able to get close enough to get past him.
But this is all holding up Frisbee, and while Werson and Raptor are fighting behind, they are both slowly closing in. For Frisbee, he may have to start moving by these guys ahead, otherwise he's going to lose positions to Werson and Raptor behind.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be very close. I mean, he might not lose position to Werson, but he has to be over 12 seconds ahead of Raptor, which he isn't currently. Nor Beastian, and actually nor Flavor either. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Frisbee falls back at the end of the race.
Ooh, big lockup for Hurricane. So Frisbee then shoots to the way outside to try and make a move. So Hurricane, massive mistake. But Hurricane is still within 7.2 seconds of Torpedo. He needs to be within 12 seconds by race end.
Yeah, this race is going to come right down to the wire. As long as Ryan doesn't get another penalty, he's only got to stay within another 5 seconds with 3 laps to go. And, well, that gap was just... Ooh, that gap has come down. Maybe a little mistake from Torpedo on the exit of 9. Oh no, that is 10. Sorry, that's my bad. There's now another dose of DRS for Ryan Hurricane. He's going to get very close this time, using all of his ERS to try and get past. He's going to go to the inside, dive down the inside. Ryan Hurricane, he doesn't want to sit behind Asda anymore. And he's going to have the outside line into turn number 13. It's going to be tricky for him to hold it around the outside, but the inside line in turn 15 is the best line in turn 15. As Frisbee sends it down
Frisbee.
the outside. As
Contact!
Frisbee drops it. Ooh, that was very close between these two drivers.
And that takes Ozda out of contention for the race win. So now Ryan Hurricane, it looks like he's going to walk off with this unless he starts earning time penalties. Frisbee really upset Ozda's chance at a win, but there's still a podium in play for Ozda.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the battle for this final podium spot. We now get to see Ryan's pace in clean air. I know from experience that the AlphaTauri is one of the quickest cars, if not the quickest car in a straight line. It is quite ridiculous how far I think that car is too quick in the game in the straight line, but there again, I'm not Codemasters, so...
Mazda went hard to try and defend against Frisbee, but Frisbee said, "You move or we both crash." Mazda responded by backing out, so Frisbee now up into 3rd position.
We might just be able to get ARS, but 2 of the slowest cars down a straight line are going to have to duel it out for the last 2 laps of this race. So long as Ryan doesn't lose another 3.5 seconds in the last 2 laps, or in the last 2 laps, he will have a win on his hands.
I think it's very possible that could happen.
Frisbee's
Frisbee is
getting
coming with a charge.
Frisbee now gets the loop done. Oh, right, a little hard moment on the tractor there for Ryan.
And this has also brought Mazda back into play now.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized I've been talking a lot. I'll let you talk a little bit more.
Nah, don't worry, it's fine. There's 2 of us, and I'm still trying to deal with the hangover. If you want to talk, please feel free.
Okay. Getting up to 9, nearly 10 seconds now for Ryan Hurricane. So it's going to be very close towards the end of this race.
Hurricane does have DRS on the Haas, but he's not closing by any significance. If anything, Mazda is closing in on Ryan right now.
Oh, it's going to be very close to the end of this race. I'm rooting for Hurricane at this point to win this race.
It's not a done deal yet. There's still a little more than a lap and a half to go, and Mazda could really play havoc here. Not to mention Ryan's tires are falling off at about the same pace that Torpedo's are.
However, Torpedoes have a lot more to fall off, so the last lap and a half, 1.5 seconds now, getting down to the fine end, business end of this race, will be very close on the last lap.
Can Hurricane stay within 12 seconds of Torpedo by the end of this race? He did not get DRS on the Haas going down the straight this time. That's leaving him exposed to Mazda, but Mazda could not pick a lane and get by him in time. Raptor by Wersen again using DRS going down the back straightaway.
Torpedo is one more warning away from a 3-second time penalty though.
It's in section 3, yes, Wersen! Wersen's crashed out with 2 laps to go.
Oh no, no, Ryan is just slowed down. Frisbee. Yeah, no, Torpedo has this now.
Whatever happened there is definitely going to be looked at post-race by the stewards. I can guarantee that.
No, it was a game
because Hurricane's
DRS
not going to be
chicken.
happy with that.
The DRS chicken is what it was. Neither of them wanted to give up DRS. Yep, Torpedo's got this one.
This pushed Hurricane and Mazda out of the fight for the win. So unless Torpedo gets another time penalty, it's over. Torpedo has this one. And Hurricane's going to lock up second because Mazda is still 6 seconds more of time penalty than Hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, Torpedo is only 1 warning away, I believe, from a 2-second penalty. So it's going to be, there's a spin from the Haas at turn 1.
No,
right?
that wasn't a spin. He's slow. He's almost out of fuel, I think.
Oh, yeah, he ran out of fuel.
Yeah, he's trying to just bring that thing home right now. He has pushed way too hard, and it's destroyed that car pretty much.
Yeah, no.
Here comes Mazda on the inside of Hurricane one more time.
Ooh,
He's by.
Torpedo, little swiggle? Little wiggle on the exit of turn 15, however, it does look like he's going to come around the final 2 corners to take the checkered flag here in Texas, United States of America. Around the final corner we go, and he lifts off a little bit. Oh, that could be very crucial at the end of the race. Had Ryan actually been close enough, which he isn't anymore. Torpedo wins this race from Mazda from Hurricane.
Yeah, Hurricane will come home second on penalty count. Back then, Mazda. Raptor, we've not really talked about it much at all today, but Raptor perseveres and comes home 4th. 5th, Beastie in 6th, so a great day for the Red Bull team. Waddington, it looks like he's still going to be able to come home 7th at least. Frisbee, it's hard because we don't know if he's going to be able to finish this race, but if he does, he'll get 8th place points. That was a race.
Yeah, that was a fantastic drive from all of the 20 drivers, or 18 drivers when they were in. Yeah, what a race that was. Especially those last 10 laps, everything seemed to go up in flames.
Trying to get Torpedo in here real quickly. Come on, game. Let me invite Torpedo, please.
Is it not letting you invite him?
I can't find him. That's the thing. The game is Xbox is acting like he doesn't exist. Oh, there we are. All right, there you are. Game gives driver of the day to Ryan Hurricane. I don't know. I think you could argue strongly for the Haas drivers, considering how those cars have been performing most of the season.
Yeah, it's very,
All right.
good.
Coming into the party right now is XRL Torpedo. Torpedo, there was a Ferrari near the front almost all day long, but the Ferrari that won in the end was not that. Torpedo, congratulations on your victory. What do you have to say about that?
I'm quite shocked because, like, heading, like, at the start of the race, I felt like I wasn't really going to be fighting for, like, a podium spot. And then, obviously, like crashes happened, safety cars, strategy played into effect, and then it happened.
I will be honest, Torpedo, it honestly looked like you were not going to win until coming to the white flag, because you had 2 drivers farther behind you that were in position to leapfrog you in time penalties. Only a game of chicken by the end that looked like saved you.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, it did save me. Also, like, Frisbee ran out of fuel when he was in 2nd at that point, so that time that I gained was down to them slowing down because of Frisbee's fuel issues.
All right. Well, Torpedo, outstanding victory by the Ferrari. This is going to help you guys significantly in the Manufacturers Championship as well. So now my question is, can you repeat this next week at Mexico?
Hopefully, but we just need to get some practice in on that car, and hopefully we can produce the goods next week.
All right. Well, great job on the win. Also, great job on fastest lap. Your decision to throw on soft tires on the final restart worked out very well for you in the end.
Thank you.
All right, I want to talk to... I've not been able to get Ryan Hurricane into the party. I do want to talk to 2 other drivers. Ozda, please stand by for a little bit. Frisbee, I don't know how much longer you have, so I want to talk with you now. Frisbee, outstanding job today, fighting for the win almost until the very end. What do you have to say about your race?
Well, it was a bit shit that I ran out of fuel at the end, but the pens, because I went on the mediums when everyone was on softs, kind of messed me up. It was still a good race. It was probably the best race I've had on the XRL League.
All right. Frisbee, I just want to say this. Both Haas drivers, although you were the only one to finish today, sadly, but both Haas drivers put in an amazing performance, amazing drive today. Personally, I would say driver of the day for you, but is this the final turnaround? Can you finally start bringing the Haas to good finishes and good results on a consistent basis now?
Yeah, I think I got a buff or something in the last update because it didn't feel as bad as it usually does. It actually pretty quick, apart from the streets, obviously. I was getting dropped by Ferraris and Alpines in the street, so I think at tracks where like Brazil would probably be a good one for a Haas.
All right, well, I want to say thank you very much for being willing to jump in and talk with us. It was outstanding watching you out there today. Shame it didn't work out for you, and shame that you ended up falling all the way back to 8th in the end because of fuel issues, but still outstanding. I'm so glad to see you guys be able to turn that around. All right, I want to talk to one other person here. Ozda, make sure your audio is included. No, I'm going to be honest, Ozda, I don't think anyone really paid you for fighting for the win today until about midway through the race, where on pace, you caught up to the leaders and you played a very calm, intelligent game and let them all take each other out. You were one of only a few people really in contention for this victory to the end of the race. What do you have to say?
Well, I just want to say, what a race. I mean,
Is your audios
the
included?
yeah, it's included.
Okay. Yeah.
The driving standards are absolutely impeccably good. It is unreal. The battle I had with Ryan Hurricane, those last couple of laps was absolutely insane. And I knew that I wasn't going to beat him on penalty points, but I just wanted that battle anyway because I like to beat people on track. But anyway, that the penalties for my own doing, and I've just got myself to blame for that. But at the start, I had a really bad wheel glitch. So. I dropped back a lot, and then I think I had an incident where I broke my wing. Oh yeah, I caught Raptor in the S's because my wheel decided to go straight instead of turning in. So I clipped Raptor's rear, and he obviously spun, and I got wing damage, so I had to pit. So then I went to the back of the field, and the rest is history really, because I don't know, I always had pace, but the wheel glitch at the start really messed me up. So what I did is I restarted my game, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. So
All right. Well, Ozda, I will say it was outstanding to watch. The other thing that really sticks out to me, it's only your second race back in XRRL, and you immediately start fighting for a win. More to come like that from you in the future?
Yeah, if I get a full-time seat in the AlphaTauri again, yeah, definitely. It's a car that suits me very well, so we'll have to see.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Outstanding watching you today. One last person. I didn't think he'd be able to join the party, but I was able to get him in anyway. Raptor, very, very difficult race and difficult day for you in general due to, the turmoil living in the disaster area, almost ground zero from the tornado attack that has happened overnight. You're still able to come here, strap in, and despite incident after incident after incident, you came home fourth today. Walk us through the race from your perspective.
Well, on the initial start, I got up to the top of the hill, took some contact on the right rear. That was enough to spin me around. I'm not quite sure where the contact came from. I'm gonna have to look at my clips. And I'm sorry.
It was me.
Okay. But that had spun me around, put me near the wall, managed to get it back on track, and then on the safety car restart, I had a really, really odd game glitch happen. My audio slowed down, got really choppy, and despite my steering inputs, it steered me hard left, put me into the wall, took my wing off. That was almost enough to put me a lap down, but that's it. That's the point at which you decide to pull it, just to really pull the bootstraps up, strap in, just do what you need to do. And one thing that really stood out to me, and this is a really big credit to Mr. Wiron. The last 15 laps of the race, we just had a constant battle back and forth. I was fortunate to get a safety car in the late stages of the race to kind of help me out. But this was a really hard fought P4, and I absolutely have zero complaints. It took some work to get there, but in the end, it's not a podium, but it's points, and I can't ask for any more than that.
Okay, one other thing, speaking of points, your big rivals in the championship did not earn points today. The main two leaders in the points, Davis John, crashed out, will not walk out here with points, and then Mr. Anderson did not show up to the race at all. You obviously missed being able to start at Suzuka, but you did walk home with a few points at Monaco. Now you've come back and brought with some resiliency and grit, brought home fourth. Can you start turning your season back around now?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of I need to analyze the mistakes that were made here, put in significantly more practice time, and just keep persevering, keep fighting, and get myself back into the top 5 points wise to where I can start fighting and try to claw my way back up into some solid points and just see how things go.
Okay, one last thing I'm going to say to you, and I've made this comparison several times to you before, but I think it bears saying again. Last season, it was really common to see one incident happen to you in the race and the entire event was ruined and you almost never finished. You're now making a habit to where, yes, things are happening to you early in these events and you're turning it around and you're bringing home good points at the end, despite bad luck or bad decisions at the start of the race. I'm very, very proud and impressed to see that kind of turnaround and improvement on your end.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's a matter of you can't let a mistake knock you out of the headspace you need to be in. When you're on lap 35, you can't be thinking about something that happened back on lap 18 or lap 20. Your headspace needs to be in your cockpit and it needs to be on the race in front of you, because if it's not, that incident is going to live in your head rent free, and everything you do from that point on is going to be colored by that one incident. So it happens, you get back on track, you put it behind you, and you just go.
All right. Well, outstanding finish. Thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps up the broadcast from our end. Veloce, I'm going to be honest, this was probably one of the best races I've ever seen XRL put on here at USA. Normally, it's a little bit of a procession, and then as the race gets on, it gets really strung out, and it just becomes a matter of who's better on time penalties. But we actually had some really good racing pretty much from start to end today. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, even the half race to ISO was like, it was almost like a full race, to be honest, with all the battles that we normally get. Normally, I remember at Japan, there was maybe one overtake a lap. There we were talking about one overtake for each corner on the track. It seemed like there was so many overtakes in the last 20 laps of the race, minus the safety car. It was just a great race in general.
All right. Well, Veloce, curiosity, kind of look forward to you joining me in the booth again next week at Mexico.
Yeah, I should be here in Mexico, yeah.
All right, well, if so, I will most definitely be looking forward to sharing the booth with you again. For those of you who are watching, tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time on the main channel, Kinsey Retro will be doing the broadcast for the X1 race here, while on the alternate channel, I will be broadcasting the X3 race at the same time. Then at 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow, it will be the X2 race at COTA. Then next week, 5 p.m. UK time on the main channel will be the Dev race, and 8 p.m. UK time on next Saturday will be XRRL. I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. I've been joined by XRL Veloce. Thank you for joining us today, and stay safe. Goodbye.